place. I'm gonna wait a second before I go
Me and
live.
Solver like the only ones that use ours. He can't get, even if he turns his camera off, it's not his.
All right, I'm seeing stream health. That's good. All right, receiving content. All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast and the lordsofgaming.net, episode number 127. And it's another glorious Sunday. We're back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm very excited about our special guest, and we've got Sony StateOfPlay, Last of Us 2 multiplayer, InsideXbox, and Project xCloud beta to discuss, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who the ILP recently had the privilege of meeting in the flesh at PlayNYC 2019. Not only does this Lord provide opportunity for the dreams of our game developers to become a reality, but is an absolute trailblazer for game conventions with a New York state of mind. Introducing the founder and CEO of Playcrafting, producer of the Bid Awards and the PlayNYC Gaming Convention. One of the most passionate gaming executives in the game, and the official young buck when it comes to human algorithms. Live from the new mecca of gaming, New York City, and making his debut into the realm of the Lords, my man, Lord Dan Butchko. How you doing, sir?
Hey, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, man.
Yeah, we made it.
We made it. A pleasure to have you in the realm. You are a Lord at what you do, so it's only right we show you the proper respect here at the round table. How's it been going, man?
It's been good. I can't believe it's been a month and a half since PlayNYC, and we're already ramping up for the next one, which is pretty nuts.
I know, we were talking offline, man. You got the wheels turning, everything's ready to go, man. Good.
But I've used the chance in the past month to also like catch up on a bunch of games that I've been wanting to play. So it's also been nice to have a little bit of downtime too.
Nice. What you been playing, man? I saw you on Astral Chain. There was one time I was playing Astral Chain, and I saw you on Switch playing Astral Chain. I was like, that's what's up. What you been playing?
Astral Chain is like my number one contender for Game of the Year.
Woo! Talk that. So say it with your chest, Dan. Say it with your chest, because I get a lot of opposition in here from the, from the Switch haters.
Astral Chain, Game of the Year so far, by far.
Woo! What else you been playing?
I'm going between 4 games on Switch. I've got Astral Chain, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Untitled Goose Game, which just came out last week.
Tell me that game is not hilarious.
It's incredible. And I hope that they turn it into like an MCU-style universe where there's like an Untitled Dog game and an Untitled Pig game, because I just want more and more of it.
Yes, the things you can do with that goose to harass people is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So what was the fourth one?
The fourth one is the remake of Link's Awakening.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Nice. 2D goodness. You already know.
Have you noticed, King, that he's been trying to sell playing as a goose for like 3 weeks now?
Let me tell you something. That is the third person that stood up for this game.
Listen, man.
Talk to him, Saul.
The a-hole goose game is where it's at. It's like it's what it
you know,
feels
it's
like a
pretty
Metal
bad
Gear
over
game.
there. If they floating on being a goose.
Listen, you're gonna be
same
reviewing that
sinister
game for lordsofgaming.net. We're gonna get you that
We're going
code.
to get you that code to review it.
Yeah, well, you need to slide me that code, because y'all all have this same little grin.
No, you know what? It's funny. We need King to start reviewing games, because
we need King to review Switch games.
Time out. You're on early.
Fraud alert.
You're on early. First, shout out to my man Dizzy. Okay, Dizzy, I got to give you a special super chat in a second. We want these fantastics for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Dizzy. You want me to start doing reviews? I want you to start reviewing your camera.
No, my camera works just fine. I reviewed it this morning. I turned it off, and then I turned it off.
Check it out. I do the reviews, and you do the camera. Boom.
That's the bet.
There's no quid pro quo here. No.
Anyway.
Camera's getting like a 2 out of 10 right now.
Yeah, camera's a 2 out of 10. Yo, shout out to Dizzy with the $2 super chat, man. Coming in early. This is live from the ER, and first of all, I give him a special shout out because our brother now, he's on a serious note, he's battling cancer right now, and he is literally live from the ER doing this. I mean, from the hospital doing this, and I just want to say, brother, we miss you. You know, all the Lords have your support. You know what I'm saying? And I know he's hurting right now because I believe Shadowkeep drops this week, and he wanted to play. But that's our editor, Lord in Chief of LordsOfGaming.net.
How do you believe Shadowkeep drops this week?
He says it like he's not 100%.
Nah, but all jokes aside, man. Yo, please send him your love, the messages. Keep his spirits up. Like I said, he starts his chemo this week, and we are rocking with him. And to see him in here doing his normal jokes, antagonizing King with the Benji D segment.
Listen, he was on my head on Twitter, and I just wanted to give him a special shout out because, brother, your spirit is strong, and I'm with you. And yes, listen, when the PlayStation 5 come out and we swipe, listen, we're fine. We're gonna see this together, sir.
Anyway, salute Lord Dizzy, man, my brother, man. We hold the fort down till you get back. So anyway, and we already have the 4 horsemen of gaming, those original lords of the realm at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, Lord of Reviews, and the How of the Young Wolf. My man, Lord Addict, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a question, Cognito. Do you have like our individual intros like saved, and you just copy and paste that when you write the show every week?
I would say that majority of them are off memory.
I was gonna tell you, Addict, that's off the top of his head, man.
I just like to add little spices and stuff based on current events.
And I was gonna tell you, you're saying his review name wrong. You're saying it wrong.
How am I supposed to say it?
The hard gamer review. Because, and I gotta tell you this: this man is a video game savant, and we're not gonna underscore the fact that he goes out there and plays these games on the hardest difficulty level for God knows why. And
nah, I don't be playing all games on the hardest difficulty. These corner narrow shooters. Nah, I'm not about making everything into a bullet sponge, and they call that a hard mode.
Anyway, what have you been playing, sir?
Final Fantasy VIII. I finally beat that on the Switch, and I've been playing a lot of Destiny here lately, actually.
Oh, I love that.
Nice. Yep, we've been playing together. Me and you've been rocking.
Sadly, on the Xbox.
I know. So rest in peace. Well, not rest in peace. Soon the PC will be back up and running, so you'll be good to go.
What happened to it again?
Yeah, he got a USB issue. We ain't gonna get into it. We ain't got a lot of time. Lord Dan's limited time today.
Let's just run through these things.
And of course, we have our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the not Nostradamus. Mr. Offline, I was at Nostradamus. Mr. Offline Profile Illuminati and Lord Patreon of the Iron Bank. My man, Lord Sovereign, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Doing good.
What's up, man? What you been playing, man?
I have been playing just Link's Awakening, man. I haven't been home. I was hoping to play some Gears last night. That didn't happen because that boxing had me open last night. I was first time in a long time I'm paying attention to a fight without doing something else. So I was paying attention to that. So no Gears. So hopefully I'll play some Gears today. But just playing Link's Awakening. Yesterday I got to hang out with my nephew. Took him to see Abominable. And
how is it?
That's a beautiful little movie. He loved it. Very nice movie. Kind of formulaic, but whatever. It was good.
Because they're trying to compare it to How to Fly a Dragon. And I want to take my kids to see it, but if it's a Blu-ray, I could wait off. Just let me know. Like
it's nice. It's a story you've seen before. I don't think it compares to How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, that's kind of epic. That whole trilogy of movies is pretty good. And then we played some Mega Sega Genesis Mini, man. He doesn't have the only attachment he has to Sega is Sonic, but beyond that, so I threw on Streets of Rage. And he was open. I was so happy to see him. Come on, Theo, let's beat these guys up. What
character you pick?
Oh, he played Blaze.
Blaze.
Like Blaze.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a fun time. It was a fun time.
No doubt. Salute, man. Good to have you in the realm once again. And of course, we have the Incredible Hulk of this, aka the Excess Gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports. King of the Statues, who demands nothing less than that premium experience, and is the leader of the Fraud Alert movement. It came out early. Beloved Lord King, how you doing, sir?
Oh my God, you guys know exactly how we doing, baby. All right, listen, we're gonna get this real quick because we got Dan in here.
Talk real quick.
And Dan really doesn't have all the time in the world. So listen, the Staples Center was rocking yesterday. The Staples Center had 2 champions going up to the ring. This was disrespect versus respect. All right. And you have to understand, one person was going there to disrespect somebody, and the other person was going there to snatch respect. And I think both things got accomplished last night. You had Sean Porter versus Earl Spence Jr. Earl Spence Jr. is the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather, if you didn't know. All right. This is what they're calling him. They're calling him the baddest man on the planet, the boogeyman, the dude in the closet, the Jabba Binks. But this is what happened. He learned last night the honey badger was not afraid of anything. The honey badger stood in his chest and hit him with everything that didn't have a glove on it. Hit him with the knees, elbows, head, and chest. He hit him with his back. He hit him with everything that he could hit him with.
With every body appendage.
This man said, and I quote, "He's going to feel me in the ring." Pause.
He did say that. He did say that.
He said that. And I'm going to tell you this. He felt him. Pause. If you saw what Earl Spence Jr. looked like after the fight,
he earned that.
He got touched up.
Yeah.
He learned. I thought it was a calculated error that Sean Porter's father told him, give him the body and we'll take his head. I think that was a bad judgment in corner because Earl Spence lives in the body. Now, what I saw was fight of the year.
Yes.
What I saw was 2 combatants that will not allow their wills to be broken.
Yes. Absolutely.
It was two. Listen, when Earl Spence Jr. knocked down Sean Porter in the 11th round,
and he said, "That's what I'm talking about."
But man, I screamed.
Yeah, I lost it. Because that was boxing at its purest.
He looked over at him and said, "Not tonight. You're not getting this body tonight. Tonight, you're gonna earn everything you get." And it was fitting that it went to a split decision. Now, I didn't agree with it going to a split decision. I felt that Earl Spence did enough to win in a unanimous decision. But I say this. I said, as a champion who's been fighting 15 years, and this is his first pay-per-view, you saw a man change.
Yes.
He went from being the B-side, always being overlooked, always being talked down, always being abused verbally, always, to being A1, sharp, clean. He fought with a level of ferocity from round 1 to round 12 with the same energy. I said, you have to encapsulate his blood and give it to every old folks home around the world.
It sounds cheesy, but it felt like a Rocky moment. You know that moment when Apollo Creed starts respecting Rocky in the ring? He's like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? You felt that moment last night. You felt it. It was crazy.
That right there is one of those boxing. Again, I don't watch boxing as much as I used to. I knew I had to watch that one, and it blew beyond the billing. Like it was, to me, I think Sean Porter earned so much respect in a loss that I was just like, well, I have to watch all his fights now. I've never really watched him prior to that.
That's how he fights. But yesterday he was at 11. I'm gonna say this. This is a wake up call for Spence.
Yes, you can't get by on pure talent alone, buddy. He had to dig down that. I respect him. He dug down, but it's like you said, the pure talent and just being the bigger guy ain't gonna work. Because when someone else has that same heart and determination, we saw how it could go. It was a couple moments. It was looking spooky. I was like, oh, what's going on?
This is the problem. In between fights, he blows up in weight. Sean Porter, from the beginning of this year, knew he had to fight Earl at some time this year. He's been in shape since January, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, he treated his body as a temple. All the way through to fight night.
Real quick, not to interrupt you. Talus, thank you, brother, with a $2 super chat. 3-finger salute to iDizzy81. No doubt. Much appreciated.
All right. So let's go on from there. It'll be a Combat Talk results show. I don't do them, but this is necessary to be done. It'll be up later on today, guys.
Okay. All right, man. That's what we got. And of course, we have the Lord of the Cooperative Experience and Gaming Ninja himself, the Shinobi, LordCognito, spreading that realness in the realm of the IOP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So for me, just been Gears 5, Destiny 2, Shadowkeep Prep. Obviously been playing with Addict a little bit with Sinister. Astral Chain, as Lord Dan mentioned. Been playing that a little bit. And got back to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 because Spidey's back, baby. Spidey's back. So I'm happy about that in the MCU. We had to do that. And then playing this beta. I got accepted by the beta of a game called Tower of something. It's a beta on Xbox.
I thought you was about to say I got accepted to Xbox Cloud. I was about to leave this podcast right now.
Actually, my console's in the skip ahead program, and I got accepted to console streaming. So we'll talk about that later in the xCloud side. But look, we got a lot to talk about, a lot going on. We already know. So look, Lords have gotten into what they've been playing. But I want to start off with Lord Dan, his video game system history, his journey into the gaming industry to become the CEO of Playcrafting, and of course, what led him to be the producer of the Bit Awards and the Lord's favorite gaming convention, PlayNYC. So, Lord Dan,
the title, wow.
You're a Lord, man. You're in the realm.
Next year, damn.
So let's start from the very beginning, Lord Dan. What were some of the first video game systems you had, and what got you into gaming?
My mom got me into games, and the first system we had was the original Nintendo. So I fell in love with games when my mom booted up the first Legend of Zelda in like 1989. I was 4 years old. Yeah.
Wow, the gold cartridge, the epic sound. The only one with the save feature at the time, like a battery inside, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So you stuck with Nintendo. Give me some other titles on that system, man, that you remember if you had it.
So Zelda was the first one, but the game that we played the most as a family was The Simpsons: Bart versus the Space Mutant. Do you guys remember that game?
Yes,
King definitely.
I'm a huge Bart Simpson and Simpson fan, so I definitely had that game.
I spent like a solid 6 years of my childhood collecting every possible piece of Simpsons memorabilia. I was obsessed with the Simpsons for years. Yeah.
So now shout out to Stick in the chat. He said, "Original Nintendo, Dan's a young buck." Yeah, that's his nickname. He's the young CEO in the game. Y'all don't understand. Continue, Dan. So you stuck with NES, and then where did you go there?
Sure. So stuck with NES for that round, and then my family switched over to Sega.
Oh, good parenting.
Power switch.
Good parenting. Getting you out of that ecosystem. What Sega system did you pick up?
We got the Sega Genesis, and we went deep into Sega. I had a Game Gear, and I loved it.
Wow. Talk to me. You're the first.
So I didn't
talk to me.
That's Sega talk.
Yeah. Game Gear to me, like I did not have an original Game Boy. I don't think I had a Game Boy until like the SP in like 99 or so. And so Game Gear was my jam for the longest time. And so I played obviously all three of the first Sonics. There was an X-Men game on there that was, I don't think it was a port of the Sega game, but it was a lot like it.
Yeah.
There was a game called Slider on the Game Gear. If you've never played it before, you've got to play it. You're playing like he kind of looks like a Kirby knockoff. Like an orange Kirby. And you just like the whole purpose of the level is you have to like move him over every single box. And so it's a gigantic, like almost like a disco floor of light. If that makes any sense. And so there's like enemies all throughout it. You just have to like go over each block in order to change the color on it. And I was obsessed with that game. It was called Slider.
I gotta look that up. I've never heard of it.
I got it right here.
Yeah.
Wow,
he looks like a Kirby knockoff, right?
But that was your game, man. That was your game.
That was my jam. It was so good. So I played Game Gear for the longest time.
I was gonna ask you quick about Game Gear because I know sometimes like you're actually the first actually to mention it, really, actually, as a guest of the history. So, like, I always wanted one. I know, like, Sav, you had one, right?
Yeah, I had one and a Nomad.
How was the battery life back then? Because I remember back then, the Game Boy always kind of had the advantage. But I heard that battery life on Game Gear was a little rough.
You needed stock in Duracell, basically.
Terrible.
Really terrible. Yeah.
And it had a TV tuner.
Exactly. Had the TV tuner.
I had the TV tuner on top. They could only get 2 channels.
Continue with your story on that.
But yeah, back then, like you remember they had like portable TVs too, so you literally a miniature box. So for you to show up with this chunky Game Gear, you were so cool. And it was like heavy as hell. It had like a half-hour battery life or something.
Yep.
You're constantly running from outlet to outlet, but
Yes.
It was the first time you had this fully backlit, all color screen for games. And so when I was a kid, I was like, I didn't care if it was Nintendo or Sega. I was just like so like taken aback that I had this glowing screen in front of me like that.
Yeah, in color. You were one
In
of the
color.
early. That's right, one of the early ones, man. So then, like I said, you got Game Gear, you had Genesis. So you kind of rocked out. Did you kind of just transition straight over to portable, or did you kind of were doing both? Like, were you still invested with the Genesis ecosystem at all, or where did you go after these two?
Yeah. So after that, my brother, who's 4 years older than me, he kind of took the lead for a couple of years in the console decision making. And that was the only like 2-year, 3-year period where my family was exclusively a PlayStation family.
Ooh.
Oh man, they making moves.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. Like the family makes the decisions with the consoles. Like they moved you from Nintendo to Sega to Genesis, and now it's like, okay, PlayStation is it. So what's the hierarchy in the family? Who's making the final call? Like,
I think my mom is probably making the final call because she's the OG gamer, you know. And I think what she probably wound up doing was like just agreeing with whichever son of hers like wanted the system and the games that she wanted.
Okay.
That's right.
Which I don't fault her on. Please, I would do the same thing.
Nice. So mom is mom was hardcore gaming then.
She's hardcore, yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. And brothers and sisters, how many?
I just have one older brother.
One older brother. So you guys was playing time, you guys were going at it with the 2-player stuff as well, or playing the cooperative stuff?
Yeah, it started out as like before we had video games, when we were super, super young, we'd play this game called Toy War, where we would just set up all of our action figures against each other, and then we would just change the rules all throughout. And because he was the older brother, he would always change the rules so he would win. So like it would be all action figures, and then he'd just grab a stuffed animal and he'd say, "Oh yeah, we can play with stuffed animals now," and then just plop on top of mine and say, "Oh, I won."
Shout out to the older brother for being petty. Shout out to him.
Exactly.
So PlayStation, man, guide me through real quick, man. Give me some standouts. Give me some things from the PlayStation.
The PlayStation, I didn't play it too much. My brother, his name's Josh. He went real deep into Final Fantasy VII right away.
You hear that? You hear that, addict?
Yeah, we got the system. He went right to Final Fantasy VII. Tomb Raider 2, not Tomb Raider 1, but 2. There was a fighting game for Star Wars called Star Wars Masters of Terrascasi back then.
Yeah.
Yes. Horrible game.
Solve is not a fan.
But you got a chance to use lightsabers. So
Exactly.
Yeah. And I remember like that was the game I played the most. I was still like 9 years old at that point. I played that game a ton on PlayStation, but PlayStation, like, other than what's it called? Oddworld. Oddworld I played a ton of on PlayStation. Other than that, though, I didn't dive too deep in it.
Okay.
And then it was probably 97, and that's when like my console choice was like the one that won.
Okay.
And it was the N64.
Wow. Nice.
So,
you had that married. What you had? What drew you in for 64?
Absolutely Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Building.
And that was like the new renaissance of games for me in my life, because I kind of like took the back seat during the PlayStation period in my family, and once N64 came through, I was addicted to Ocarina of Time.
Nice. That's a big one, man. 64. Wow, tremendous. So from that point forward, gaming still kept on. Did you touch Xbox at all? Where'd you go? Did you keep continuing on with the other PlayStations?
Yeah. So from that point on, Nintendo was definitely like the center point of my gaming universe. But each time like the next round of systems came out, I wound up getting all of them, because it was to the point then that I got a job in high school. I could pay for some of my own stuff. So it didn't have to be a family decision every single time at that point. Yeah. So I had N64, then I did GameCube, OG Xbox, and PlayStation 2, but PlayStation 2 I got like 3 years later.
Okay.
He rebelled. He went back to Nintendo. He said, He rebelled. He said, "I have my own money."
Yeah.
Y'all not gonna dictate what's going on in this house no more.
Yep. And GameCube was the first system that I like decided I wanted, and I like read all about. I fell in love with it. I got it on launch day. So to me, like GameCube is my all-time favorite system because it was the first time I like felt like a real sense of ownership around.
I get that. No, I get that.
You know,
I completely get that.
The original.
What was the game that did it for you? That made you sit in that line and get a day one, that night release? What was the game?
It was Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, Addict's in love with you right now. I think that's games right now.
Yeah. So I'm dying for 3 coming out next month.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm right with you.
No
doubt. So Luigi's Mansion did it for me, and I think I got all 4 of the launch titles. It was that, Super Monkey Ball, Wave Race, Blue Storm.
Yeah. Yo, I used to love that game. I forgot all about
the
that.
water looked like real
water.
Remember
the water
was
amazing.
The water.
Yo, I forgot.
I remember, and you look back at it now. You go back and look at it, and you're like, okay, console graphics are so much better. But back then, you're like, I am looking at a photograph. This is crazy.
I'm so glad you said that, because the way you feel about that is how I feel about when Super Nintendo came out with Mode 7 and I saw F-Zero for the first time. There's moments with graphical fidelity, and I felt Wave Race was one of those moments as well. Like it really, like no one did water like that at that time. Like, it was like that was an ocean you were looking at. It was like absolutely, man. Tremendous gaming history. Wow, we can talk all day with this, man. This guy is certified.
Ever since then, it's every console that comes out. I have to get it, and I usually prioritize Nintendo first. But I'd say if I had to like choose like my favorites, it would be Nintendo, then Sony, then Xbox.
That's what's up, man. So tremendous history, man. So let's get into your background as far as the gaming industry, man. You know, like I know you kind of had a background like with marketing and event planning, stuff like that. But then like what led you to become like this CEO of this like multi-state haven for game developers, like with the Playcrafting stuff? Give us that whole thing.
Yeah, so I actually I went to NYU for college, and I did not study anything business or games related. I went to social work school, so I got training in social work on how to counsel folks and work for great causes and help marginalized folks and populations. And so throughout college, I that's what I studied. I had an internship on the Lower East Side where I was working with the homeless population. And so that's really like the core of what I started out in. Left college, I graduated college, worked for 6 years at a nonprofit, raising money for a really great cause, child abuse prevention and treatment. Wow. But it was while I was there that I started doing all of their events. And so all the money that we raised, we would basically raise like millions of dollars per year from banks for this great cause and distribute it all throughout the country. And we would do that through events. And so that was my like first real events experience.
Nice.
I had us download like Adobe Creative Suite and started learning how to like make graphics. And I went back to school and I learned graphic design and some marketing stuff. But it was probably 5 years into that job where I was like, this is a great cause. I love what I'm doing here, but this is not the core of what I need to
what you are like long term.
Yeah. And I took some time and I thought about it and I researched, and I realized that games had always been the number one thing I was the most passionate about in life. And so while I was there, I got to a point where I could do like 8 hours of work in like a 2-hour period. I told my former boss is a mentor of mine, so I can say this like out and proud without any shame.
Let's go.
I sat and I made a list of every single game I've ever played in my life.
Wow.
I still maintain that list. So once I update it, I can send it your way and we can compare.
What you got? Was it like an Excel spreadsheet? Like what you got this in?
Excel sheet, yeah.
I figured.
Yep.
So
I ranked them all, and I went to GDC that year, the Game Developers Conference, and that was the first time I saw, wow, there's tons and tons of people that are working in games. It's not just people playing games. There's people making a living, contributing to the culture, doing a lot of different things. And so I left my job. I started a side graphic design company so I could just pay the bills while I looked for full-time work in games. And a friend of mine said, why don't you join some local groups. Why don't you volunteer your time? Like, do whatever you can in New York to get connected. And so that year, it was 2014, and I volunteered for the Games for Change Festival in New York, which is focused on like games that make a difference. Did all the did a bunch of the graphic design.
Shout out to Ghost of Supreme in the chat. He's calling you the real life gaming Captain America. Continue, sir. Continue.
We need to record that school thing that he does in the
like that. All you need is the chair now, and then you sit with the
he's like leaning on the
chair. Continue there. Continue like that.
So I went to the Games for Change Festival. I volunteered for them. And then I joined a bunch of meetup groups on meetup.com. And one of them at the time was called the Games Forum. And I walked in there, and it was at the Microsoft office. There was like a play test night. And I walked in, and there were like 30 games from developers I didn't know existed that were in my own backyard in New York. And so
that's the Microsoft office over there, what, 42nd? That's by Port Authority, that one?
Right by Port Authority.
Yeah, I know. I've been in that one. Okay,
yeah. So I walked in there, and I was just blown away. I connected to the folks that started the meetup group. And then back then, I just got an email from like the leader of the group that said they were hiring someone to run just the meetup group. I applied for it, and I was hired to run the meetup group, and then it just kind of took off from there. And
that's when you guys kind of like got together, the infamous story of the bar meetup with.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a terrible cafe in like Flatiron, I think. Yeah.
Shout out to that cafe that is getting slanted right now. Shout out.
I won't name it because it's a chain, but it was not good.
No doubt.
But it was a good backdrop. Good backdrop
for creation.
So I originally was hired just to run the meetup group, but then got this really great business model in place where we could have an organization that could be profitable and grow, but also contribute directly to the community and grow the community. And so 2015, we rebranded it as Playcrafting. Nice. Started it out as as an actual company. And then it just kind of took off from there. And so my original goal was just to make sure that I was building out everything in New York. So that playtest night became an expo. 4 of them per year, a winter, spring, summer, and fall one.
Wow.
They started, and all at the Microsoft office still. So there's another one coming up in October. We still do 3 of them.
Wow.
But the summer one got so big that I said, well, wait a minute. There's something here, and New York needs its own real full-scale convention.
I'm talking about. That's what
I'm talking about. So we turned it into PlayNYC, and it became its own convention. And so things have sort of like spun out from there. One year we said we should do an awards because now the community has so many games coming out of it. So we started the Bit Awards, and that's been around since 2015. Yeah.
Wow.
And then the most recent thing, which really has sort of catapulted things into the next level, is these big corporate partnerships that we put together.
Yes.
And so they, on paper, they can sound kind of bland, but in practice, they're awesome because we're building these games initiatives for these huge companies like the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to get into that.
And it's this really cool thing where games are being created that would never have been created before.
Absolutely.
Developers that are from smaller studios are getting paid for their work.
That's
so
awesome.
We're kicking a ton of cash into the local games industry and generating games for players worldwide to experience that are kind of like this mashup of smaller studios and independent developers with huge corporations, and then all these cool things happen. All these great games are developed as a result.
Yep, dude, this is an amazing story because obviously the Lords, we were able to visit PlayNYC, and we kind of saw that same structure that you were talking about. And again, just to see, the smaller developers, what is it? So, what a shout out to our guys from Decoy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they won Bit Awards, right? They won a Bit Award, I believe.
They were the big winners earlier this year at the most recent one.
Yes,
yeah, they got the PC Game of the Year. They got Player's Choice, which is an audience voted one. Yeah.
Yes, with Swim Sanity, and we followed their journey from PAX. I know King and Solve, those two are responsible for finding those guys. They did the interview. I was just blown away with just the story story of three lifelong friends, two brothers and a lifelong friend that kind of came together. That was amazing. And yeah, I mean, there were a couple of games we saw there. Was it Avaria Versus? And oh man, what's the one that you loved it really much? It was it was in the back. You know what I'm talking about? And it had like custom combos.
Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah, I'm forgetting these names off top.
What did it look like?
No, he liked Back Scratcher. Back Scratcher game, and the Back Scratcher game was legit. The fact that you could take a picture of your own back and
I'm done with you. Voice, I am done with you.
Amazing, and I love the partnership with Bose.
Yes.
That partnership with Bose it brought fun back to the headsets. I'm not gonna lie, that video is up. You see me actually playing it. You actually get a workout for your neck. And I wanted to do the Bose walk around the city with the AR glasses, augmented reality. I thought that, oh my God, Play New York had so much for everybody. The board games, the card games, the video games. It was like you was going through different communities, like New York City. Like, you had like Brooklyn, you had Queens, you had Staten Island. You had the bougie part where nobody else can come inside when we was in the VIP section. It was very nice.
It was real cool. I remember the two now. So Fiction Sphere.
Oh yeah,
that was, and then the other one was Kung Fu Kickball. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh my God, we had so much fun with that.
Shout out to Soft, man. He made me go over there. He was like, "No, we got this." And me, Hyde, shout out to Petey, Snarl on the chat. We had so much fun with that, man. Tremendous. So real quick about the partnerships, because I know you mentioned it's kind of a big deal. He's some big names he's throwing out, man. But one in particular I know was like the Verizon and the NFL thing, and I just wanted to talk about, we see them kind of pushing, 5G gaming, right? And I want to talk about that real quick because obviously we see, Playcrafting on the front line with that, and obviously the landscape has changed. Game streaming is really picking up steam. It's like almost like a battle royale now. You know what I'm saying? We got Patrick Atlas with EA. We got Stadia. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Project xCloud with Microsoft. So like, what do you think about game streaming in general and like just the current landscape?
I think game streaming is like this year's VR. Every few years there's a new technology that comes up that like takes the world by storm. It's like a gold rush. Every company rushes toward it. And then after like 2 years, it starts settling in. And so I've been doing this now for 5 years. And so even in that span of time, in the beginning of that 5-year period, it was mobile games, like mobile, all the time. And then it was VR. And then VR gave birth to like XR, which is AR, VR, mixed reality. And now I think streaming is the latest of the like upgrades and like the new. I won't call it a fad, but it's more of like an innovation that changes the landscape for sure.
Yes.
But it's so early that I think this is the period of time where all of the companies like jump out of the gate and they are putting out what they think is the best version of it.
Right.
And then I think in the next couple of years, what you'll see. Some of what they're trying will work. Some other companies will not work. So we'll kind of settle in probably 2 to 3 years on what models and formulas work best. But what I get excited about is seeing the implications for streaming on things that are already great and things that already exist. So
give me an example.
On the 5G side, for example.
Talk that 5G talk. Let's go.
Yeah. For 5G, I'll say that, we worked with Verizon a year ago to bring a bunch of indie developers together to make 10 of the world's first 5G games. They're not publicly available, but they were the first ones made, some of the first made. And you could literally build out a full PC/console quality experience on PC for PC and then just stream it directly over to the phone. Zero lag, and you would see sort of like the comparison of when they would try to do it on 4G versus 5G. And it was, and it was mind-boggling.
Yes.
It was just wild, and the developers would just like throw as many characters on screen as they could, as many particle effects, as many players at the same time, and so that gets me excited. It's the streaming capabilities of 5G and technology that you can take anywhere, you know?
I was going to say that, do you think because, you know, a lot of these, you know, corporations, companies are privy to the access of 5G tech, you know, ahead of time, and they're seeing the excitement, the possibilities, would you think it's one of those things that, you know, we're in a transitionary phase and they're trying to get ahead of it? And then obviously people are throwing their hat in as far as what format and what model will work. But do you think it's more of people see the future with 5G and think that, you know, with the latency issues shouldn't be that much of a problem, is what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think latency is a very big part of it for sure. And that's, to me, that's like the easy win, right? You know, because it's just a super strong connection. But what I think the most exciting part of it is what we don't know. And that's where, like, each time one of these new pieces of technology emerge, what you see is it's like you're creating a new frontier. It's like the Old West, if you're playing Red Dead Redemption, you know, it's like this wild zone where people don't know what's going to work. They're trying to build things, and they're doing both like the build out of it, trying to come up with a vision for it when they don't really know what it's going to take to get there, you know? And that's what makes, I think, games as a whole so exciting, because that's a constantly evolving process. Who knows what it's going to be 4 years from now, 5 years from now, when cloud streaming has sort of settled down and like found its place, and people are adopting it in different ways. And, you know, VR is still super exciting. So is AR, so is MR.
And I like the fact that you had that on display there when you first walk in, and you had AR reality walk to your right, and you had the VR section to your left, but like a lot of other places would have only VR here.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole PlayNYC, it was like VR here. And then it had a big booth in the back, and they had a great line to get on for the VR in the back. And I'm the VR guy. So when I saw it, I was like, Cognito, this is incredible.
You was day one.
All of this stuff. And it's very important that people don't think that it's just a fad, because it's not. There's a lot of games being made for it, and you give the space. The space was beautiful. Like I said, they really thought the space out. It was very nice.
Oh yeah,
very
love
nice.
it. Was it Metropolitan Pavilion, right?
Yeah, there was a game there called Bizarre Barber, which I don't know if you got a chance to play it, but we debuted that game at PlayNYC last year. We do something called graffiti games, where we like fund some games to get made and debut at PlayNYC, and they can either just be played there and then not like go anywhere, or the developers can use it as like a launching point to keep working on it.
Right.
And Bizarre Barber got funding from Oculus. They got accepted into an incubator program. And that's like to see these creators making things for all of these technologies. And so even like laying out PlayNYC's floor plan, to me, that's our opportunity to make a physical space that is a reflection of the current landscape of games, and specifically the landscape of games in that region. So in like the New York region. So for us, like we want to show that games can be like weird and wild, like the Back Scratcher game.
I love that.
Or you can have like standard, like straight up sports games. Like we had FIFA on site.
Yeah, was in the building. Yes.
Yeah, like that's the beauty of games. There's something for everyone. And like people of all different backgrounds are there because they're united by how exciting and fun and thought-provoking games are. And so
the FIFA section looked like a pub in London. It was nice.
Yeah, it was lit. It was lit, man. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, man. I want to talk real quick just about the challenges of running a game convention. Obviously, you know, last time we talked on the show floor at PlayNYC, me and you know, we talked about New York. We talked about, you know, the evolution. We see things right now, even currently with E3, right? They're going through an evolution on how they're going to be set up. So I guess, you know, we know that it's not cheap to get publishers to come, you know, and we get that from New York, but we definitely mentioned like the tax breaks could kind of alleviate that. But like, what do we as gamers, like in New York, like what do we need to do to help raise awareness, or just to assist you on your journey, so that we can make it comfortable for these AAA devs or pubs, you know, to get to PlayNYC, man?
Yeah, I think I think PlayNYC is sort of a just like a marker and a symbol of games in New York. Honestly, the best way for gamers and fans to get attention on New York is to support developers and buy their games and follow their work. For folks that are in New York and around New York, so like support games that are being made in your own backyard, and that does not mean like you have to stop playing games like Star Wars, you know what I mean?
No
but
doubt.
By doing that, you are like showing that developers and you're contributing to their work. You're showing that their work is valuable, and more people that are showing their support financially through social media, through all these different channels, the more sort of groundswell there's going to be.
Okay, I see where this is going. So we got to support our home team, the draft picks, the farm. We got shout out to Dizzy for being petty. Where the Mecca's coming to New York, man. I know you Texas, and I know you feeling good right now, but New York, we coming, man. All right, Texas, you pipe down. So we got to support these local guys, man. That's basically what we said is get their stuff to the forefront.
Get their stuff to the forefront. I think for us, everything's an incremental process. When we started PlayNYC in 2017, the only vision that there was New York needs its own full-scale all-game convention. That was the only vision in place. There was no real idea of like, okay, what does that mean? What is it going to be in 5 years? And so when I and my team get questions about like, what do you see as like PlayNYC 3 years from now? Or it's hard to think about that because we are so focused on executing now. Like, all we have is right now. And so that's what we focus on each year. Each year is like, how do we make this the biggest, craziest, most inclusive version of a convention that New York's ever seen? And so we've been really, really fortunate, even through these corporate partnerships that have come through, that this year was the first time that PlayNYC had a full-time team behind it. So there's a lot of like working endless hours and like sacrificing a ton with like no expectation or understanding of what the outcome's going to be, but just because you believe in something. And so it's a combination of both supporting local developers and games that are coming out locally, while also enticing and encouraging publishers, developers, fans.
Do I need to stand in front of Rockstar? Do I need to go out there and say, get
yes,
you behind in there? Like I can go pull up. Me and King can pull up. Just let us know.
Get the megaphone out.
like Crash Bandicoot.
Like Crash Bandicoot.
We got to Crash Bandicoot the situation, right, Saul?
It's like Rockstar. We'll get Rockstar there eventually.
Nice.
We had Devolver this year, so and like it's all baby steps. It's like it's like a mirror of what one's personal journey is, where they say focus on your own lane. Only compare yourself to what you know. That's all we can do here. All we can do is look at the previous year and this year.
Good point.
How can we bring in more? How can we add more? And so a 10x10 space from Devolver in 2019 could be in 2022. We're now at a point where Devolver and Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, you have to have a long game in your head the whole time and not burn bridges along the way if someone says no.
My man, Lord Dan with the plan, man. Talk that talk. I love it. This is good to hear, man. This is definitely exciting. And like I said, we in the Lords, when we first heard about you guys, we were like, look, we've got to support, man. This is something I know for me, as a kid, the dream was always E3. That was the bar. That was where I needed to go as a gamer to kind of get, my rite of passage. You know what I'm saying? But it was always in the back of my mind, like, man, New York is the biggest city in the world. Like, why don't we have it? And just to hear your journey and see this thing develop, the Lord's going to be with you every step of the way. So this is cool that there is a long-term vision. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we like to hear that. So real quick, I definitely want to ask you about, as far as like just getting in the industry. I know we got much time with you, but like, I know you guys help devs, you know what I'm saying, and helping them get their vision off the ground, and that's a tremendous thing. I just want you to talk to the guy who's just like no experience, right? He's just, he came from nothing, little to no experience, but he's got that passion to make games. Like, what advice or steps do you give to someone who's a gamer to get them on the right track to be in the industry?
Well, first of all, if you are someone who loves games, then it puts you in a better place to eventually make good games. So thinking about why games resonate with you and like getting into like the research side of things to see how they got there and sort of what it took to get there definitely is an easy starting point. But the beauty of how accessible games development is now is that all you need is the internet and a laptop, and you can make games right now, digital games. All you need, I mean, if you want to make like analog games, so like card games, board games, all you need is a piece of paper and a pen.
Wow.
You know, so like the barrier for entry is extremely, extremely low. Many games are made in the Unity engine or the Unreal engine if you're primarily focused on video games. And so there are free versions of both of those that you can dive in right away. And both companies support their developer communities with like free tutorials. And there's a lot of ways that you can go ahead and like get started now without having to pay the money to like go back to school full time or do all that right away. You can get started right now. And investing money and time on that level is certainly something you can do when you start. Yeah, but it does not have to be step one. And so honestly, the best way to get good at making games is to make as many games as possible and to check your ego at the door, because you know, all like when you're just a fan and a gamer and you come in and you play, let's say a game that's on my mind a lot lately, which is The Last of Us 2, which I'm dying to play.
Yes.
When you play The Last of Us 2, all you're seeing is the end product. You're not seeing the 5 years of mistakes, the thousands of bugs, all the things that didn't work. Just like
the fact that they had a ditch multiplayer, but we ain't going into that.
We'll do that on the next episode. But yeah, just like I said with PlayNYC, and let's call that like the game that we just built. Yes. For every developer that was there, and every exhibitor that was there, every player and fan that was there, there's probably 6 or 7 that weren't there that said no. Yeah, and you're right. So consider that our version of like the roads that didn't work or like the glitches in the game along the way. And like this process is very iterative, and so that's where diving in and trying to start is paramount. And then I'm a huge fan of in-person community. So there's a lot of ways to connect with people online. There's forums. You can talk to people that are making games on the Unity forums, the Unreal forums. But to me, it's like join Meetup, like go find a free event, find a cheap event, like connect with people that are near you, because we're all in this together. And that hometown pride is really, really strong. If you're a sports fan, an esports fan,
you already know. I'm repping the home team. I got to support the town, baby.
Listen, when we walked out of there, the sense of pride that we had when we went to go eat pizza, we had to recharge our batteries to come back. And the sense of pride that this is happening and developing in New York City was so amazing. Because you had people, you know, we was walking down the block and they're like, "Where are you coming from?" And we're coming from PlayNYC, and you need to go there and check it out. And
it stop us in the street, like, are the tickets still available?
Yes, people would see the badges, they see the video, they were like, "What is this about?" And that's how that awareness starts, right, Saul? Let me continue with saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's how it starts. Just word on the street, especially like this, when people that you're looking at smaller games that parents are willing to bring their children in, something that they're going to be attracted to, and then beyond that, once you're in there, then you see everything that's in there, and it's something for everyone. So I mean, as soon as we walked out of there, it was like left and right. What's that? Where are you guys going? Like, it was,
absolutely. Real quick, shout out to Brad with the $5 super chat. How do we get Play Washington D.C.? DC Metro is home to Bethesda, smaller devs, and the ESA. So he's making his push, Lord Dan. Can we get a Play Washington D.C.?
I'm glad he brought that up, because Playcrafting, even though we got started in New York, we are in multiple cities already. And so if you're in and around the Boston area, we do events all year round. Same thing in San Francisco. We just started doing stuff in San Diego and Seattle. DC has been like at the front of mind for a while. If nothing else, than just the fact that Play DC sounds so nice. But yeah, there's a ton of smaller studios. There's a ton of larger studios like Bethesda that are nearby, and so this kind of thing is scalable and can go to any number of different directions. And I think that now that PlayNYC is 3 years old, and this was the first year that fairness, we broke even.
Hey, salute to the money. Salute to the money.
Net zero. We're finally at net zero. Great. Awesome.
Let's get to the black, baby. Let's get to the black.
Yep. Let's aim for $5. Let's aim for $5. Now that we are at that point, we are like seriously considering where we're gonna build this next. And so DC's on the list. There are some spots on the West Coast that are on the list. To me, going to spaces that are not typically associated with games like DC is more exciting than like doing another thing in a place that has 17 conventions already. And so that's going to be a factor as we're talking about moving forward. But again, we started as a meetup group, and that meetup group was started by one guy who wanted to like bring together some folks that work in games or like games. And so I'll say to the listener out there that like you can start your own version of Play DC. Just bring 5 developers to a cafe and have them show their games to each other, and that's where it all starts. And so if it's not us, I think eventually we'll get to 15, 20 cities, but if it's not us in the meantime, you can start your own version of that. And reach out to us on Twitter at Playcrafting. We're happy to give you some pointers along the way.
Awesome, man. Good. Salute the Lord Dan. Salute the Lord Brat with the tremendous question. We're going to get you out of here soon. But last question we ask every guest. This is the big one. This is the big one. So I need Lord Dan's top 5 video games or franchises of all time.
Okay. I'm going to, because 3 of the top 5 are Zelda games.
Let's just say franchise Zelda.
Yeah. Number 1 is Zelda, and if I had to say, like, 3 of the games at the top, like, rotate in being number 1 of all time. I'm back to Ocarina of Time as my number 1. So Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
Hold on 1 second, Lord Addict, do you approve?
Yes, I approve. The question is, what are those other 2 Zeldas?
Skyward Sword.
You would not approve of the second one, which is Skyward Sword.
Oh, King is happy! Yo, Lord Dan, you don't even know what you just did right now.
Listen. And you said it rotated. See, that's the best part about it. It could tomorrow. It could be Skyward Sword.
He never said all 3 of them rotate. He just said they rotate. For all you know, it could be Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time rotating. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Skyward Sword, baby.
That is a highly contested argument between Lord King and Lord Addict. Just let you know what you started there. What was the third?
It's not an argument. King is wrong and Addict's right.
Listen, I just want to know something, Dan. What was it with Skyward Sword that made you like the game? I just really want to know that one part.
Yeah, I'd love to know this too.
Skyward Sword is the vision of a one-to-one playing with a sword as Link game realized. That vision was realized, and I was completely obsessed with it. And I'll say, like, just to put the competition to rest, Skyward Sword has, for the most of the time that I've had like my ultimate games list and my list of all the games I've ever played, Skyward Sword has been number 1 more than the other Zeldas.
Boom. What I said. Boom.
Yeah. And I say that knowing how controversial that pick is, but I absolutely, like, the whole world was like built around swiping the sword in the right direction. And I get that it didn't work for some people. It worked 150% for me. And I felt, and like the creature design, it was like I was playing a Studio Ghibli movie. It was perfect.
Right, I cannot get his face.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, the level
it's cool. You can have one ally, and I've had like 50. That's cool.
I don't care. This is the most important ally, and the fact that you have made my day, sir.
Good. I'm glad that there's someone else on here that agrees with me.
Oh, yes. King Rider.
We've officially found the 2 people on the internet that like Skyward Sword.
It's ridiculous. What was the third Zelda game that rotates?
So it's Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, And then it was Wind Waker, but Breath of the Wild is.
See, now you got me. Now you got me.
See,
now I'm in.
He represents all three of us. He
literally got all three of our Zeldas. Oh, this is awesome, man. So we're gonna be in that it's Zelda.
He almost made up for that nonsense when he said Wind Waker. Because he said Breath of the Wild, and it just completely threw out the door again.
Addict is so disrespectful.
I'll tell you when it goes back when like Skyward Sword is like number 3 out of the 3. Okay.
So we got the Zelda franchise in one of the spots. All right. So you still need 4 more.
All right. So number 2 is Journey. That is the game that ever made me cry.
Salute.
That was a new experience. So Zelda's Journey. Number 3 would be for the N64 WWF No Mercy.
Oh!
Wow.
You are the GOAT. Me and Soft. Love you. You are the greatest guest.
No mercy.
He said no
mercy.
Yeah.
That was after a while, those games became our reason for owning it.
And what's funny is you guys always be hyping up this game, but none of you watch wrestling.
No, that's not true. No, we watch the hell out of wrestling.
I still get in and out and watch wrestling just to see what's going on, but No Mercy was a perfect game.
Oh, yes. Soft, please expound.
No Mercy with a RAM card. For me, honestly, we got WCW versus the World, right?
Yeah.
And we had played the earlier iterations of that engine on PlayStation. We had imported all those games, and Versus the World was the first time it all came together. And on the N64, the fact that you had the 4 players, you can go back and forth. The frame rate was horrible, but it was so much fun. And every single game in that series following WCW NWO Revenge, then you had WrestleMania 2000, and then No Mercy. Every single one improved upon that formula, and No Mercy was the pinnacle. Was the absolute pinnacle of that.
To me, every wrestling game after that got far too complicated. Like it was just the perfect simple system.
It was simple. It was simple, but it was deep in execution. If you had to say, I wish we had video of some of our matches back then.
They used to stick the chest out. They used to stick the chest out.
I played that game so much that I memorized all of the systems in it, and I told you about like playing games with my bigger brother like when I was younger. I would play with him so much on that game. I knew exactly how to beat him at every single corner.
The pattern. You memorized your opponent's pattern. Shout out to Kiss Moon. He was like, it was the Aki engine. Yo, the chat is loving you.
The Aki engine,
It was like King Soft said, it's just simplistic goodness. But it was almost paper, scissors, rock, because you had strike, you had grab, you know, it was just so well done. And then all the modes, you could create your own event. Oh man.
It came out when the greatest wrestler of all time was there, and that's Rikishi Fatu.
I'm dead.
I could never play another one of those wrestling games. So I played one on the PS3 online by accident because my roommate at the time, we were about to go out. And we sit there. I was playing that some dude dressed as a Spartan like powerbombed me like 50 times, and I turned that off. I uninstalled it off his PlayStation. I was just like, I'm done.
The best things about those games, and we don't talk about it enough, is the spirit system. That spirit meter. It was witchcraft because we had no idea how it worked.
But
it simulated the comeback. It simulated the comeback in a way that no modern game has ever done.
The second your opponent was down, the second they were down, all you had to do was keep hitting that taunt button. Like the Rock would do, like you know, and that's exactly how wrestling works. That's the whole point of it.
It was the beauty of it, right? Because wrestling is about taunt, getting the crowd involved, and that momentum swing. You know what I'm saying? Now I will say this: there was only one thing. I know we're going over. Like
Black Mamba.
They had. I know that was the WrestleMania for Cube. That was Black Mamba. We're talking about 64.
Black Mamba.
But the thing about the 64 wrestling games, it was like that was a little unfair sometimes. Solve is when you fought. Kaibatsu knows what I'm talking about right now. When you fought against The Rock, when you fought against the popular wrestlers,
Rock, Goldberg,
they could be dead and they'll do 2 moves, and then all of a sudden they're ready to go. Like they're raging. They're hard to beat.
I remember a match when I fought Kaibatsu. and he had Goldberg at the time before
before we made this power
before the switch went down. And he literally started the match and pulled he pulled the analog stick and got his spirit up in 2 seconds. At the start of the match, he had his spirit up. He jackhammered me, and it was over. That's a Goldberg win, though.
That's a Goldberg win. It's true. It's true. Again, that game, and I could go on and on. This is like we can make this a No Mercy podcast.
Yeah, 100%. Right
no
there
doubt.
with you. Yeah.
Listen, this list is legit. They got Skyward Sword and No Mercy.
I like how you put yourself in first. That was cute. So then we got that. We got Journey. We got no Mercy. This is a strong list. Finish strong. We got 2 more.
All right. So the next one would be Batman Arkham City.
Wow.
The PS3.
He's going down as like one of the greatest. This one.
He's in it. He's in it. Like, he's working.
He's
working.
We're hitting all angles here. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's finish this. Bring it home, Lord. There.
Number 5. There's 3 in my head, and I got to pick one of them. So I'll pick one of them, and then I'll tell you what the other 2 were.
Okay, go for it.
I would probably go with Portal.
Not 2, Dan? Portal, both or 2?
They're both good, but Portal 1.
Portal 1 was a revelation. 2, it improved on it in every way, but Portal 1 was something like when I got that in the orange box, I'm like, what is this game?
Yeah, because they threw it in there, and then when I had to make a portal and I threw the box through and it fell through, I said, okay. Well, we doing this. Okay.
Yo, hold on. 1 second before I get the other 2. Shout out to Fastback OG from the NLG podcast with a $10 super chat. Shout out to Lord Dizzy, my Texas co-op bro. Prayers your way. Keep grinding and fighting to get to the next level. # appreciate Iron Lord. Salute, brother, man. Thank you, brother. It means a lot. And salute to Lord Dizzy as well. So you said Portal, but there was 2 more fighting for that last spot. What's the other 2?
Yeah. One would be The Last of Us.
Oh, of course.
And the other one would be BioShock.
Nice.
BioShock, yes.
Wow. Outstanding history.
I'll send you the full list later, though. I have like literally every game I've ever played, and the top 100 are ranked. So.
Wow, nice.
Skyward Sword is in the top 5, baby.
Lord, Dad, this is absolutely tremendous, man. I know you most likely got to run. But, man, this is amazing, man. I literally could talk to you. I want to hold you hostage, man. There's so much gaming we can talk about. But
I'm happy to come back anytime. We can do a WWF No Mercy segment for the next,
we got to do the No Mercy podcast.
I'll definitely have to miss that one.
Shut up, Annie. Where can people find you? What you got going on, man?
You can follow me on Twitter. It's just at Dan Butchko, so DanButchko. For all things that we're working on over at Playcrafting, including PlayNYC, the Bit Awards, the Global Game Jam, our expos in New York, San Francisco, Boston, and as we're spreading everywhere else, it's just at Playcrafting on Twitter. And to see if there's an event or a class or a course or a convention coming up in a city near you, go to playcrafting.com.
So salute, man. Iron Lord Dan, absolute pleasure to have you, man. Definitely we will do this again. Hopefully we'll run into you at PAX East because Lords will be there. And keep doing your job. Keep fighting the good fight, man. We love what you're doing. We love your tremendous ascension, man. This was really a good time and an honor to have you in the realm of the Lords, man.
Yes.
Absolutely. Likewise. Thank you guys so much. And I definitely want to come back.
You got to come back, man. You got to come back to the Lords. Man. So chat, please say your shout outs to Lord Dan. The show will continue. But again, Dan, thank you so much for hanging, man. We are going to continue.
Yeah, make sure that y'all go and follow him on Twitter and make sure that if you're in the New York City area that you get out to play because NYC, I'm telling you, you will have a great time. Bring the kids. The kids.
Absolutely, man. So we are going to move on. Last week's poll results are in, and the people have spoken to the question. With the latest rumors regarding a PS5 and PS5 Pro SKU launching simultaneously, do you think a dual console strategy is the correct approach by Sony heading into the next generation? The winner of a fairly close 3-way ILP poll at 49% is the no. It confuses the market. Keep that same energy when Lockhart and Anaconda dropped.
What?
That was the winner.
I'm surprised that is that tight. What's going on?
I didn't expect that to win though.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
I expected the PlayStation dudes to be like, nah, we gonna do the 2.
Yeah.
I expected it to win, but not that tight. For me, because it's like I felt like, I just feel like PlayStation Nation, the same way I feel about it is like they don't need to do that. Even if they do come in slightly underpowered, if that is the case, I don't think it affects them the way it would affect Xbox. I just don't.
49%.
That underpowered stuff, they better not come in here with the weak kneecaps. They better actually buck up, son.
Coming in at second place at 31% was the yes, give PlayStation gamers options and price and power group.
Now they want options. Now you want options. Huh? now you all about diversity. Huh?
Coming in at last place at a close 21% was our petty lords. I don't care until the real powerhouse that Switch Pro is announced group. So shout out to
none of this list.
The Lord Sovereign. You're very surprised, you see, man.
Very surprised. I mean, to be honest, like I said, for me, I don't think there's a reason for it. And I was all for it on the Xbox side, specifically for the reasons that I mentioned. I thought, Xbox, that's a narrative they can't afford to give back up. Right. So if it means, covering your rear end and having 2 SKUs out there, then that's what it is. But I don't think PlayStation needs to do that at all.
No doubt. So that's what we got. New ILP poll will be at the end of the show. So we got
about diversity now.
Oh my God!
For the
players, y'all. Stop it.
It's all about choices.
Shut up. The chat is hilarious right now. Mr. Kiva with options, no doubt. But we're going to get into the show. So I wanted to break it up. I know, Addict, you've got the multiplayer thing. We're going to touch that. But I want to start with Saw first. Saw, did you watch the State of Play? You want to talk about just impressions?
I did afterwards, yeah.
Okay. So let's just start with State of Play, and then we'll get into the main event. Let Addict take over with the main event with the multiplayer.
Okay, so we'll leave. Okay,
yeah.
So the State of Play was kind of overall low key, apart from the what people were waiting for, which was The Last of Us, and hopefully getting a release date, which we did.
AKA State of Play was trash besides Last of Us.
Pretty much. So we got a demo for Medieval that came out at that moment, the Medieval, and it's looking better than it did before, because when we first saw footage of that Medieval remake, it looked pretty horrible. What else did they announce? They announced a game that's coming to PSVR. I don't even know what it is yet. It's PSVR and regular PS4 called Humanity. That was the first game that they showed with all these people falling through things, and it was weird. Right. I don't know what that is. But
notice he didn't know the name. You just said announced it. You're like, you didn't know the name. So it was, this event couldn't have been that good. You don't even know the name.
The game is called Humanity, but I'm reading that right now, so I didn't remember the name.
Continue.
The next game from the creator of Katamari Damacy, Watam, which has been out. Like, I guess this thing has been kind of finally officially coming out, but I could have sworn Watam came out years ago. But anyway, so that's coming. We're getting LA Noire for VR, which has been out again on Oculus forever.
Why is he laughing at every game announced?
That joint was a bunch of rehab.
I gotta join him with King, man. I've been front.
So that we're finally getting that. We're getting that for PSVR. Yes. There's another game coming out called Arise, which looks like.
Why are you just glossing over them? You
what am I glossing over?
You gotta go in depth.
Oh no, I'm gonna. There's no reason.
You know why he ain't going in depth?
I'm gonna go in depth on 3 things. I'm gonna go in depth on 3 things. The PS Plus lineup, which is for me. Right?
Yo, that's what I'm. Yo, come on. The PS Plus was fire.
PS Plus was fire because finally, which is something
was it as fire every year. Game Pass?
No.
They got
I give you this
show.
The Last of Us show. Yeah, The Last of Us 1, get everybody into it, whatever. Anybody who hasn't picked it up.
You know, I actually saw something really funny. It was about the multiplayer thing, but it said it had a picture of what's his name from the 3 that said that stupid statement on the 360. We got a product for you. It's the 360. It showed someone was like, "What about the multiplayer?" And it showed a picture of him. And it's like, "We got a product for you." So
shout out, I think Photorack had always Twitter too. I was laughing.
So yeah, the 2 PS Plus games are Last of Us Remastered and MLB The Show 19, which which to me, let's go, people. This is something that should happen every single year.
Yes.
Every single year, give us that year's MLB The Show in PS Plus at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Let people play that game.
That's right.
That's
when the game is no longer viable, let's give it to them for free.
for real.
Let's not do it when it's viable. Let's go out there when they don't care about it and put it out there for free.
Unless they plan on doing something.
That was an irrelevant.
That ain't happening.
That was an irrelevant. What's going on in the PlayStation ecosystem?
So let's get to the stars of the show.
Let's get to the stars.
First off, we got
Superstar.
Special Death Stranding limited edition
console.
Yes, baby functionality.
You talking about the console that looks like my nephew made? Like you talking
put
about the console where he just got his hands and some paint and just put it on the console?
That is but the most special part of that console, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Is the Throat Baby controller.
That's not real.
I'm not about that piss yellow controller.
That speaks to you through the PlayStation controller speaker.
Are you serious? It does that?
Yes.
I didn't even listen. I wasn't being. I was so disgusted with the aesthetic that like I didn't even know it had features.
when you play with it, it says Google Gaga.
Please don't ever say that again.
Oh my god.
This is the kind of stuff. This is Kojima to the Kojima umpteenth power, right? So listen, it's a typical Kojima thing. I have to admit, like when I first played Metal Gear Solid, the first one, and you had to unplug the controller to beat Psycho Mantis. That was
awesome.
That was fantastic. Right. So let's hope this has some better functionality. No urine involved, or anything like that.
Talk to the baby.
Yes.
Talk to the baby.
So, and after that, of course, we got a release date for The Last of Us Part 2. It is February 1st, 2020.
And that trailer was
fantastic. I love The Last of Us mostly because of the story. I mean, for me, Naughty Dog games, I come to them for the characters, the relationships between those characters. Last of Us was the first story that I really enjoyed because Uncharted, again, I love the characters, I love the relationships. The stories were never the greatest to me, but Last of Us was really special.
I think Last of Us just tells a story good. Like they can tell an average story so good it makes it above average.
Because it makes it about the characters and the relationships. They're really good at that. And to me, this story with Ellie, it seems fantastic. They're expanding the world in a way where it's still linear, but you're going to have a lot of room laterally to move around the world. It's much more realized. It seems like the combat is much more vicious. Obviously, Ellie physically can't do what Joel does, right? So she's going to be a lot more of a scrapper, and fights are going to be gruesome, and she's going to... To me, they're going to nail that part of it. So I'm excited about that. And so let's talk about what Addict is excited about.
No. Finish telling about their highlights. Let's talk about how graphically it was amazing looking. The world looked realized. It looked like they took
the catch here that you
it looked like they took all their energy and balled it up into one giant kamiha and gave you one single player and half baked the rest of the stuff that you didn't get. And I want all that same energy because Gears of War got everything, and I want the same energy. Let's go.
I don't care about the multiplayer, but I knew
we knew that. Before we get into that, as one last thing we kind of skipped was that Call of Duty trailer.
Oh yeah,
that had some controversy behind this mode that apparently was, what is it, Solve? It's a 1-year exclusivity.
It's a 1-year exclusivity within the Spec Ops mode. It's a mode within the mode, and so that's what's exclusive for a year for a PlayStation. And people were up in an uproar because it's like it's a year. By the time that happens, people already by the time other consoles, and I believe PC gets it, you're looking at the next Call of Duty.
The next Call of Duty. And that's my point. I wanted to touch on that because, like Addict knows and King knows, welcome to our world as Destiny fans. Welcome to the suffering and the foolishness that we had to deal with. And thank God that Bungie is no longer associated with Activision because This is the stuff I was talking about, and it's funny to see the uproar now because we've been fighting this fight for the longest. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I get it. It's business. You want to get your exclusive, cool. But no other company I've never seen any arrangement where usually it's maps and content for like 2 months, a month, and then it's released to us. But to literally hold content hostage for a year until by the time it comes out, the next it's irrelevant. It like that is insane to me. And then the other thing is, like I said, remember they've even did it even 2 years. Addict, remember when they did it to us with Taken King with Jade Rabbit? We didn't get it until Destiny 2 dropped.
Sad.
So again, all I'm saying
pretty much the game was irrelevant.
Yeah, like I get it. You know,
that's exactly what's going on here. By the time we get that mode, the game's going to be irrelevant.
And it's business, but at the same time, it's like what I don't like is that when people are fans of the lead platform, you know what I'm saying, they're less empathetic, right? But again, when it happens to your game, now you're gonna feel away. So yeah, you don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. You don't feel good now, right? It's
I don't feel good, Tony.
That's all I got to say on that because I saw it. I was like, Anyway. Lord Addict, this is your moment. We've been waiting.
Get him, Addict.
We've seen your Twitter.
See, now let me tell you guys something, okay? If my computer was functioning, I would turn on the camera for this part right now, okay? So, apparently Naughty Dog felt like it was a good idea to not launch with the multiplayer. And to be hold up. Let me actually pause this real quick because I gotta go in. All right, so first off, there is an interview right now. As of right now, the multiplayer is not coming out with Last of Us. There's actually an interview with some of the devs where they say this game doesn't have a multiplayer. Now, people obviously go on to the attachment because they've been hiring for a multiplayer. But I know for a fact that in this industry, when you're hiring for a new project, they say it's an existing game.
Hold on. I hate to stop this topic. Brap is saying some things about the previous topic that I have to address. He said, hold on. He said that, first of all, he said it's only one mode as far as Call of Duty, and they brought it back. He said, did not having the exclusive content on Destiny change the game or the fun we had on the Xbox version. That's not the point, Brap. The point is,
No, it definitely did. Like you gonna have to sit down with whoever kids you sit down with, Brad. It definitely affected the gameplay. Okay,
here's the
We're
thing.
not talking about
one group is paying for something for less experience at the same price. Like,
we're not talking about the lame exotics that you ain't playing. We're talking about like these are exotics. Like these are some. Remember when what was the
Sorry, no, I'm just clearing my throat.
The hand cannon,
right?
That we didn't have in D1. By the time the Xbox version got it, it was a show of its
right. So Jade Rabbit, Borealis, 2 years before it came. That is a problem. That is excessive. That's all I'm saying. Look, I get business. If you pay for it, you pay for it. But at the end of the day, that is the only deal I've ever seen structured. Even Division, name any other multi-platform game, map pack suits. It's usually a month or something if people have the marketing right. To have something a whole year is beyond.
Listen, what's gonna happen is this, right? When the tables switch. And they're going to switch. When they switch, I just want the same energy.
That's all I'm saying. Anyway, $2. Oh, shout out to Life and Time Podcast, brother. $2 Super Chat. Cook Naughty Dog. I can't even say it. Right. So I'm going to give it back to Addict. I got off on a tangent. Sorry.
It's not the fact that, I feel like, okay, Kid Smith says something I always agree with. He says, I'm more accepting with the timed exclusive than I am timed content. Because at least with the timed exclusive, you know where you stand. You ain't getting that game unless you buy that platform. But a timed content means you're charging some consumers a completely, you're charging them the same for less of a game.
It's not timed to the special edition, the $80 edition. It's timed to, if you buy the base edition on PlayStation, you will get that. And that's it. And you won't get the same amount on Xbox. That's what's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a super chat. Easy shot for the $1.99 super chat. Some content was locked a year after Destiny 2. Yeah, I don't agree with none of those practices. And when you're paying full price for a product that the other person is paying. It's like you go into the store and you get you get a Happy Meal. Whatever the Happy Meal is supposed to come with everything, right? You're paying full price. Now, if they charge you $1 more that you get the toy inside, fine. That person paid for that, they should get that. But if we're paying the same exact price, I deserve to get the same exact thing. Right. And I don't think that is consumer friendly, but we also see why Activision is no longer with Bungie at this point in time, and we see business practices have actually taken a turn for the better.
And the crazy thing is, if you look at the Call of Duty situation, Infinity Ward is addressing it because they've said, well, in lieu of the reaction we've gotten because of the Spec Ops mode, we have to reassess our microtransactions because that is another avenue apparently that they're expecting to be attacked through. Right. So it's something that they're cognizant of. They know the reaction. They even put up, I guess Eurogamer put up an article talking about, Infinity Ward sort of pleading with the community to stop, attacking them. I guess, there's been some colorful language thrown back between people who are angry about this. So they realize that it's not something that it's going to be, it's popular, and they realize that they have to do something to sort of alleviate that someplace else. So we'll see.
Right. Shout out to Brad. He says, I don't know, should Xbox version get a 1% discount since 90%, 99% of the game? I'm not asking for a discount. All I'm saying is gamers need to be empathetic of the platforms that don't have something for the same price. And again, in this case, 1 year is excessive. This is the only company that is doing it.
I don't care.
If it's a month, if it's 3 months, like if you follow the patterns of the industry, that is the only thing that breaks complete pattern. And all I'm saying is we have to be empathetic for the other platforms because by the time they get that content, the game is irrelevant. That is messed up, bruh. I don't see how you don't understand how that's not an issue. But anyway.
And you know what? I'm saying we deserve a discount. All right. I'm saying that because we're not paying for the same game. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I don't care if it's a percent. Give me a percent discount, Brad. Give me a percent discount.
All I'm saying is 1 year is excessive. And as a gamer, people should feel away. That's all I'm saying. That's ridiculous. Continue, Addict.
Shout out to Victor Alistine with the $2 super chat. Naughty Dog being naughty. Funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Continue, Addict, let's get to the last one.
So Naughty Dog, what they did is they've come out, they've said that they're working on a completely different experience. They said that, quote unquote, it was more ambitious, so that they pretty much had to extend how long it takes. First off, they take forever to make this statement. It was literally like almost an entire day. If you want my honest opinion, I don't think that I think that the job listings, because I know for a fact in this industry, when you hire for a brand new project that has not been announced, and when you're going on LinkedIn, you're posting job applications, you put it as a title that has already been announced. Right. And then when they get behind closed doors, you make them sign an NDA, and then you tell them, yo, you're not working on Last of Us 2, you're working on this new title, but we couldn't put this new title's title on LinkedIn because it's not announced. Right. I know for a fact that happens.
Right. Well, we did see the postings that first of all, they did announce that multiplayer was initially going to be the game, and we did see the postings for jobs for people to work from Naughty Dog that are going to be working on the multiplayer way back. So that was confirmed.
So I think what's happening is I think Naughty Dog is going to make a free-to-play version of Factions, and it's going to be filled with microtransactions, and I think they're going to try to go like what's the word I'm looking for? What? They're going to go towards a games with service, kind of like what Destiny's doing now, where you have like a battle pass and stuff. Because I do not see, if you look at it from a standpoint, like how much more ambitious can you possibly be with Factions? It's not like it's the most complicated multiplayer in the world.
So if it turns,
so what are you doing? That means you need to extend it like this.
They're probably making their own. If that is true, then they're making their own version of like an Apex Legends. Like it's going to be a separate thing completely within that world, and it'll be much more than Factions, right? And I think you could do a lot with that. Like I've never been. I understand people's affinity for it because it's different than a lot of other multiplayer you're gonna find out there. But they have to make a product if they're going to spend this much money, right, they have to make a product that has real longevity and real legs and is in the conversation with other games as a service in terms of money making. If not, they're not going to spend the money on that anymore.
How about they make a project that's complete? How about that part? I'm with the same energy. I'm looking for energy here, folks. And these dudes, you gonna tell me I was anticipating, even though I was never gonna touch the multiplayer, but I want it. All right, I pay for it. I want complete games. All this half-baked stuff, and these guys talking all like, it's the single player experience. This is exactly where we're at.
Imagine,
But you gotta admit, though.
And you know, I hate to say this, man, but if Microsoft would do some stuff like this, it would be bad.
If Gears would have came out with no multiplayer, Bush's bound Gears, and I told you, I can't stand their multiplayer.
And you know what's funny? Something like Gears, you know, like, and obviously I know Cognito feels the same way. Maybe not necessarily the exact same way, but you know what else I'm tired of? I'm tired of this narrative going around.
Shout out, yo, Saab, get that super chat.
Shout out to Johansel Villegas with the $2 super chat. King, you might be on to something.
Continue.
Say no more.
So what I'm tired of is this narrative going around that you can have a complete single player and it's a complete game, but if you have a multiplayer only game, it's not a complete game. Like.
Yeah. That's bad energy, brother.
Blows my mind. But you know what? Another narrative. I'm tired of people acting like Sony's the only people that make good single player games. That blows my mind too. How many games this year has third party that scored an 85 or above on Metacritic?
But yo, Addict. That's not only it. They're saying only Sony can get away with this crap. This is only Sony can get away with giving you half-baked games.
Let's be objective.
Let's be objective.
It's not being objective or not objective. It's the truth. People go around acting like
not integral to the game experience. Like Gears multiplayer.
Explain. People still play Last of Us.
They just took the servers down.
I hear you.
No, and that's just with the PS3. People still play the remake.
Is Last of Us multiplayer an esport? Like it's not. You know what I'm
saying?
Like,
there is a thriving community.
Oh, so not esport is if the multiplayer is relevant.
It is not as integral to it. When people think of The Last of Us, they don't think about Last of Us multiplayer. They think about.
So let me.
I can't wear a jersey. They don't put it inside the game. If I do not get a jersey with my purchase and I'm not part of a league and a team, you're gonna tell me I can't get multiplayer? If it can't be viable in a setting,
at the end of the day, if you make a product and you have a good following, if your game is still being played online 6 years later, then you need to make sure your sequel has that same multiplayer.
Okay, shout out to Stu Jersey X. He says, got to be an esport. What the F? What I'm saying is that it has to be financially viable for them, right? So, yeah, it doesn't have to be an esport, but they're looking to make that kind of money. And if you think that's not what they're looking to do, they're not going to invest the time and effort.
I think this is a classic thing. This is another notch that I'm putting on Sony, that they're getting too cocky. They're like, you know what? Let's launch this Last of Us because we know the PlayStation 5's coming out at the end of next year. Let's launch this before. We don't care if it's got no multiplayer. Oh, you need more time? Well, that's after the game comes out. You can do that in post.
All right, hold on. We got two super chats, man. Shout out to Brap with the $5 super chat. It's going to be a battle royal mode based on factions releasing on PS5. Still, it's disappointing that multiplayer will not be there at launch. Who's got my boy NYT? Who's got NYT?
I will after I address Brap real quick. All right, Brap. It's not that it's coming after launch. It's not coming. It's going to be a completely different game. I'll get the next super chat.
Get the next super chat, sir.
So we got a $20 super chat from NYT Music. I probably butchered your name. I definitely apologize. But we going with that, okay? So what if they create a multiplayer game with The Last of Us and Uncharted characters in one like Apex Legends called Sony Legends, then I would die laughing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know what? You might be on to something.
Shout out
That would be legit.
with the $5 super chat. He said, like all broken clocks, this is one of the 2 times a day where Addict is actually.
Oh wow! Even when he gives,
I don't know about that slow-mo. You still ain't got a W from me.
Even when he gives you props, he kicks you right.
It's always slander.
So we got a $2 super chat. You know, I'm tempted.
Yeah.
If I wasn't in such a good move, slow-mo, I would delete your whole super chat.
Oh my Lord! Shout out to
we got a $2 super chat from Jonazel. I ain't even trying that last time. You have to excuse that. Then whatever, man. That's all you saw. But $2 super chat. They can't even make a 4K 60 frames game. Ain't nobody can make a 4K 60 frame game right now.
Look, listen, I think you might be on to something.
Let's stop getting petty. Let's get back on track, y'all. So
but you know, that's just the thing that it's like. Look, like call a spade a spade.
Right.
Sure, if you like the single player, I will agree with you. Not a lot of people talk about the multiplayer. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But just because not everyone and everyone's mom, when they talk about Last of Us, talk about the multiplayer, does not mean it doesn't have a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 6 years after a launch and it's still full of servers, that means you as a company should abide and make sure them people are good. Mm-hmm. Or you got people like BG having a full meltdown on Twitter over it not having the multiplayer. And the people
I'm with him. I support his rant.
But you know, I honestly feel like if you're upset, and this ain't no shot to BG, you should not buy the game. Like,
you know what?
If you're that upset, you should just not buy the game.
I have no damn choice, Addict. Serious. This is the problem right here, right? They're giving you this half-baked game, and they're telling you it's completely cooked, and it's not cooked all the way through. I'm sorry.
So you saying that there's a little purple in it? You say it's a little undercooked?
It's in the middle. It's blood in the middle. And
Soft does not agree.
Now I will say this though. If this obviously they're working on something, they have something, right? If this comes out, let's say the multiplayer comes out around the time of the launch of the PS5, right? End of the year, right?
And that makes it even worse.
It makes it even worse because I'm like, why not just hold off the launch of Last of Us till the end of the year? Have it be your bombastic, fall game with the launch of the PS5. Have it be a cross-platform game because it's going to be playable on both, right? Or a version of it, whatever. Why not hold it? If this multiplayer comes out near the end of the year,
we know why.
Let me grab the super chat real quick.
Yeah, he says his name perfectly. I'm sorry.
We got 70 people in this chat. Definitely appreciate everyone coming by. Go ahead and hit that like button. Get that.
Yes, please.
Get those likes up there.
Get that super chat. You said
you got to say his name.
Look, man, I can't help it. Look, I might need to put that in Google Translation.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna keep seeing these shades on as long as we're doing this in the morning. I can't read anything. So, Carmen, let's read it.
Shout out to Johansson Villegas with the $2 super chat. Imagine if Gears would have come out without multiplayer.
You know what? You on to something.
Hold on, yo. 1 on Soup 2 is on your neck, so he says, "This guy's serious? I want Last of Us as soon as possible. I'm hitting the dislike."
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I feel what you're saying, right? But this is the problem.
So you don't care about the multiplayer.
If Gears would have came out and they told you multiplayer be when the Scarlet comes out. Dudes would
that man really hit the dislike button.
Salute to he's being mad of his word.
You just cost us a dislike.
Listen,
what's up with you?
Know who put the dislike in there?
Yeah, respect the shooter. He came in here. Respect the shooter.
Respect his dislike.
At least he falls on, man. At least he commits to his statement.
He's a man of his convictions.
Too. It was there.
So, but what doesn't make sense, Wonton, if you're hitting the dislike, you're in my boat. I don't care about multiplayer. Give me the game. I don't care about it. I'm just playing the devil's advocate. Because it is true. If the multiplayer comes out at the end of the year, what was the point then?
I'm ready. I'm chomping.
I'm with King. I don't do the non-color. Okay, I'm gonna take my color shades off and read one chat. All right, from Fastback, he says GTA 6 Online will launch first, single player later. The difference is you got devs saying that this game doesn't have a multiplayer. Like,
is no multiplayer coming for this game. Y'all been sold a bullet.
It's going to be a standalone thing that has nothing to do with Last of Us 2.
The devs came. Let's read the statement because the devs did come out and they said, look, you know, the whole thing in reference to we want to address the multiplayer. They said, you know, the vision was beyond, and as the team grew, an additional mode that can be included with our enormous single-player campaign. Wanting to support both visions, we made the difficult choice. The Last of Us Part 2 will not include an online mode. However, you will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as part of The Last of Us Part 2. So separate mode, y'all. When and where it will be realized is still to be determined, but rest assured we are as big fan as factions as the rest of our community.
My question is the way they worded that, it seems like it's not part of Last 2 experience. It's an afterthought.
Yeah, they literally verbatim said it's separate. King, you jump in because I'm ready, man. If you ain't...
Okay, listen, what they did was they said this. They finessed. They showed you the finesse. Right? They showed you, okay, yo, check it out. We're gonna give you this right now. You're gonna pay for this right here first, right? And later on, might have something vaguely to do with something about something. They're not telling you that you're gonna pay for that too. It's not in association with.
I don't think they're gonna make you pay for it. I don't think they're gonna make you pay for it.
I don't think they're gonna make you pay for it. Like,
but they are. But King is right. They're saying it's separate.
I low key think this is gonna be a free to play.
It's like I low key think it's gonna be an Apex.
Transactions. You are going to pay for this game in some form of fashion. This is the Sony finesse. Let me tell you.
Yo, what happens if this is a battle royale? How mad would these people be?
They wouldn't be mad at all.
Slow-Mo is agreeing with King. He said it's gonna be a standalone game. They're gonna charge you for it.
They're gonna give you. They're gonna.
King, you gotta get a super chat before you have to get this one.
Okay, Shannon, Shroom Kingdom. See, listen, I got these shades on. I can't see anything. All right, I'm gonna let you know right now. Plus, I have reading glasses.
Yeah, King sent me a pair of those shades too. I don't see nothing color either.
I'll be part of PlayStation 5 with the.
It'll be a part with the card reader.
He with you. He says it's gonna be a swipe.
PS5 Pro. It'll be a PS5 Pro exclusive.
Get the chance to play the multiplayer. You on to something? Listen, this is going to be a separate game. You're going to pay for it in some form or fashion. They just realized, they said, yo, why are we giving them this extra mode for free? Don't people pay for this? And it must be so sweet that they know they're going to finesse you. So they said, okay, so we're going to give them this. They're going to buy this. They definitely going to buy this. They have no choice. Show them the release date. Show them a trailer. Let them play. Let's show them some gameplay of the game. Let them get thirsty. Let them forget that they're not getting multiplayer for free. It's not for free. It's a package. It's a game. It's a package. All right. So you can do couch co-op. So our new thing is online, right? So it's online. You're supposed to be playing over there. I don't agree with Sovereign that if I don't have a jersey, that I can't, get the multiplayer because it's part of some big elaborate league. Now they're going to charge you for this game when it comes out. I just want to see the same energy that they charge you double the price for a single player game that should have had the multiplayer included.
All right, let me get into this. Oh, shout out to Johan Zell Vias, $5 super chat. All kidding aside, The Last of Us is going to be a fantastic game. Naughty Dog just sucks at making multiplayer. Wow,
and that's not necessarily true. I've never really played a multiplayer game, but like people I respect in this community that love multiplayer, love some of Naughty Dog's multiplayer. It's not even necessarily they can't make a multiplayer. They chose not to.
Wait a second. Wasn't it one of our podcasts that somebody said that multiplayer with The Last of somebody said The Last
it was probably BG.
They said The Last of Us multiplayer, they still play it.
Yeah, that's BG. That's what I was about to get. Yo, you literally, shout out to Lord BG, man, because I'm gonna jump right in. This is fine. He's
been going crazy.
First of all,
Lord BG, I wasn't joking when I said he was having a full blown meltdown.
You sent it to me. I almost crashed.
Yo, shout out to Lord BG. He's got one of the funniest videos. This is a passionate Last of Us multiplayer fan, and I had to salute him. He was on
in the chat.
He's in the BG. Oh, BG's in the chat. That's what's up. Yo, he was ride or die, but he made some fantastic points, and he's been on, Druckmann's head, man. He's making some points. So
he said that he's going to bell his tweets. He's gonna be on his.
He's gonna be on his. Yo, it was one of the best videos, and I respect. Here's the thing, yo.
Good.
In the early stages, we knew this game initially stated they had multiplayer. We know they had devs on point. Devs signed up for it. There was a mode initially. This is how it was presented to us that this game would have it. Then Addict was the first to bring to my attention. Shout out to Addict, lordsofgaming.net, y'all. He put it up. It was that Days of Play PS4 box. Remember, Addict? And you showed me, and you like, yo, it says Last of Us 2 will not have online mode.
I saw that on the actual event, and then it started like articles and stuff started coming up. And people was like, well, maybe it's a misprint. Look, when you make a case, you don't accidentally put on the thing that it has no
It specifically said no more. So everybody was
God of War Spider-Man. That was the exact word.
So that's when my eyebrow was like, all right, yo, what's going on here? And we get the bad news, obviously, recently. And I gotta be keep it 100. I gotta stand tall on it. Like at the end of the day, do they got the right to reserve to pull it? Yes. But all this single player was too ambitious stuff. That's why I side with BG. I feel that's marketing speak. I feel that, like, if that was the way, you should have come out from the very beginning and say, look, or at an earlier period and say, look, the multiplayer is going to be a separate thing. But to wait right at the moment you allow your release date and be like, oh, by the way, you ain't getting it. Like this is best.
And they didn't even announce it. It was brought to the attention by media.
He said, that's the part where I almost crashed. He said, I am a wordsmith.
Yes.
And he said that he gave you the jargon that they use.
Yes.
And then he said, you can't, what he said, Vanessa, he said, you can't be slicker than a can of oil. Yo, he said, that's the part where I almost crashed and went over the bridge. And I had to watch it again because it was one of the most passionate. I play this, I'm looking forward to this, and you're going to tell me that you're
not Brap is on y'all neck. Get it.
There's a $10 super chat from Brap. Attic, you are confusing cockiness with confidence. All right, we'll get to that here in a second, Brap. 100 million PS4's king, that half-baked game will be game of the year contender. I love how okay, so how are you going to say contender, but you say confidence? So if they don't have enough confidence to know, you don't have enough confidence in them to know that's not game of the year. It's got to be a contender. We'll get back to that in a minute. They will charge for that standalone or free with the microtransactions. Look, this is definitely not confidence. This is one of those bait and switches. This is we're gonna tell you what's gonna happen, but we're gonna switch it up at the last minute. If it's confidence, Brad, why didn't they say it?
But listen,
why did they let the media announce it, Brad?
Listen, I don't like the last minute nature of it. That's where they sat wrong. They had ample enough time to realize during the development cycle, in my opinion, right, to say, look, this is not going to come out at that time. So here's the thing. Look, for the record, I'm with King. I'm not some big hardcore Last of Us multiplayer game. I'm not even going to sit there and try to formulate. But it's the principle. It's the principle. Here's the thing. Like, here's where I'm at, Saul. Like, I'm just not a fan of video games regressing on features that they had already. Like, my thing is, regardless how I feel, me personally, the multiplayer, it launched with the first game. And there's a passionate community that wants that feature. So my thing is what gamers are saying, and again, I'm not coming at you direct, Saul, but I'm just saying, like, I see a lot of gamers say, well, I don't care about the multiplayer, so what? You should care, because at the end of the day, that's a feature that was part of the experience that's now be taken away. And I'm just going to use this example. Like, do
you know what would be a good example? Is that's the equivalent of Halo taking out Forge.
Again, or like Destiny taking out Gambit, or regardless if I don't
Gears
like
taking out Horde,
right?
Because everyone doesn't play it doesn't mean no one wants to play it,
right? At the end of the day, just because you don't like it personally, if there's a group of gamers that still enjoy this thing and it's a feature, unless they come out and say, yo, financially we can't sustain it, right? Or just get in front of it ahead of time and say, look, we just don't have the dev time, but don't wait till you launch your release date and then try to hit me with the, you know what I'm saying? Nah,
I feel that completely. My thing is, okay, my personal reasons, I don't care about it, right? And I'm sure that a lot of people play Last of Us who don't care about it. They care about the single player, right?
Right.
That's fine. That's not a valid reason per se. That's a subjective reason, right? Looking at it objectively, right? And like I said earlier, we're at a point in gaming where when it comes to multiplayer modes, everyone, and it's unfortunate because you look at Naughty Dog and you don't look at them as somebody who try to cash in on something like this, right? Everything is about monetization in some way, shape, or form for it to be viable. For it to be viable, which requires more work, more time to make it into something that They know it can't be egregious because people are gonna flip out, right? So to me, this is what I'm saying. That's what it is. They're gonna make it a separate thing because it's gonna be a more detailed thing. It's gonna be a more in-depth thing, and they're looking for ways to charge you for stuff without you flipping out.
And that's fine. All I'm saying is just be transparent about what you're going to do. Then you won't get this reaction. And here's my thing, and we got to keep it true, y'all. Like, listen, let's do the financials here. We all know the PlayStation 4 user base is 100 million, whatever it is, right? Okay, so to me, this feels like the double dip. You know, if it's not ready, then hold it back for PS5, right? But you're not gonna do that. What you're gonna do is smart business. I'm not knocking the hustle. Smart business. You bring it out now, even though the multiplayer is not ready. You get that 100 million. You get that base. That's the bigger base, right? To go cop Last of Us now. Then PS5 launch. You got this little faction mode. You package it up, remaster, code of paint, higher fidelity graphics, break the seconds. It's like it's a new game. You know what I'm saying? And they
bang, bang.
Bang, bang. They did it. They low-key did it. This is the same formula at the end of the PS3 generation, right? Last of Us came out towards the end. And then when PS4 debuted, we got the remaster with the hot, you know what I'm saying? This is a double dip. I gotta call it for, and I'm not mad at the hustle. I understand, but let's just be real about what's going on.
I want y'all to go, when y'all go in the store, you'll put your money on the counter. The finessing is happening. Understand you're part of the transaction. Finessing, you have been finessed. I just want you to know you going in eyes wide shut, right? I want you to open them. I want you to see it now. Now I want you to see the finessing. And when it comes out, and it comes out for PlayStation 5 with the mode, and y'all gonna be like, no, you're gonna buy it again, and you're gonna get finessed twice.
Yo, shout out to BG. He going in on the chat. He said nobody could play. He said Last of Us already had crazy microtransactions. Nobody could play. He said we accepted it. It was crazy. It's been egregious. BG's tight. So he's about time everybody open their eyes up. Now let me ask, I want to ask y'all this though. I know we go off. Now here's the question. I see that. I want to shout BG out. We should have had him on today, man. This is a perfect.
He would have went ballistic.
He would have went ballistic. Here's the deal. Like what I'm seeing on chat now. I gotta ask the chat and I gotta ask the Lords this. Like, because of this situation as far as Sony's first party, because let's be honest, for the majority of their first party, it's generally single player experience. So people are saying on chat, like on Twitter now, like, what's the purpose of me having PS Plus if all they is they not going to have a multiplayer? Do you agree with that, or do you think that PS Plus is still a valuable service? You know what I'm saying?
Let me put something with that. Let me put something with that. Do you feel like Sony should rely exclusively on third-party multiplayer and not make any multiplayer themselves?
So
that's a reverse from Microsoft stance.
Like I said, I don't care. Like you're under the, I don't know. Like you said, people are under the impression maybe they don't make the greatest multiplayer, so they focus on what they're strongest at.
Let me get this. Let me get this super chat. All right, let me get it real quick.
Brap is on it.
We got a $5 super chat from Brap. It says they didn't announce no multiplayer because they wanted those pre-orders. But if they confident, why do they care?
But I mean, listen, it's business, right? I mean, look, I understand the hustle, baby. 100 million. You're not gonna hold this game back any further. Let's get it out, get that front end, and then we're gonna get it on the back end.
Do you guys remember? Okay, when the Switch launched with Breath of the Wild, right? Yes. 2017, right? And I said that it was going to be like a double launch because didn't the DLC come out right at the holiday season?
I believe so.
When they were finally getting more consoles in stores. It's the same type of hustle, right? Like it's like you have additional content that you're going to repackage and be like, this is the Game of the Year edition with the, and then.
Oh, there go Christopher Hart. I was waiting for Christopher. I was like,
he's in the business. We're going. You just wake up.
He just woke up.
He was gonna be on that. So no multiplayer is not game breaking.
He ready. I'm like, where's Christopher Hart? Brap is out here being Christopher Hart.
We know. Let's be real here. We know.
I can't see it if it's not in color, Chris.
We know that the single player is going to be good enough to validate the $60 price tag. That is not the issue. It's not the issue of whether or not this game is going to be worth the money without the multiplayer. The issue is, should they have done this with the multiplayer, knowing that they had such a big following, knowing that they had so many people looking forward to this. Like, you literally had a meltdown. Like, and BG wasn't the only person. Go look at any.
There's a lot of people that
the Twitter.
The community was split. It's the first time in a long
I've
time
ever
I've
seen the entire PlayStation fan base have a civil war.
It was a PlayStation civil war. Shout out to my boy J Dub. I was just watching Twitter. I was just like, wow, this is lit.
Listen, I want to say this to all the people that's outraged right now. I want y'all to stand up. I want you to go. I want you to remove your pre-orders for the game, and I want you to wait until the multiplayer comes out. I want you to vote with your dollar.
You know damn well nobody ain't waiting.
We know no one's gonna wait.
I want you to have that same energy with the fake upsetness. I want you to have it. I want y'all to go put your money where your mouth is. I want you to do it. See, when I was telling y'all with Stadia, and after I saw the stuff, I took my money off. I said, no, sir, you will not get my dollars. This is not going to happen. And I want you to do the same. Act like King. I want you to say, what will King do in this situation? He will remove his bucks. But listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm frauding because I'm with y'all. I'm totally upset. It doesn't have multiplayer. Is it going to stop me from buying? No way.
No, absolutely. And at the end of the day, we kind of know that they know that as well. But
they know
it. I will say this, though. This is where I agree with BG, if he's still in there, is that when the community does outcry in this manner, they were forced to make a reactionary statement. They were forced to now get in front of it. So
this just wasn't like 5 or 6 people on Twitter. Like it exploded.
I believe there was a petition, right? There wasn't a petition that was what you call it?
Yeah, and I want to go ahead and get in front of that. It is not what's what I'm looking for. It's not being dramatic to make a petition. Petitions are literally everywhere. It's literally all a petition is how many people are opposed or for something. Like that's literally all it is. If you want to sign that petition, go sign that petition. But what was funny is BG on Weapon where he was like, "Yeah, I signed that petition." And they're like, BG, it says in the first sentence, by signing this, you agree not to buy this game. He's like, they don't need to know I will.
I ain't mad at the hustle, man. But shout out. This was a hot one, man. We had to get it. This was too much fun, man. We got one more and we get out of here, man. Lord King, did you watch any of that InsideXbox, sir?
Yes, I did. And I don't like the fake. Listen, let's shout out to InsideXbox, right?
Why Attic laughing? Why is Attic laughing?
Got the Joker laughing.
He laughed and dumb hard just like it.
He fell off his chair, too.
Yeah, like he literally, that was a good laugh.
Listen, I love Larry Herb, right? I really do. Everybody else on that panel can go away.
Oh,
everybody else.
We can't do that to my man Ricari, who just came back.
I think Ricari is good.
He got to go too. He definitely got to go with all the fake fans and the fake jokes. Larry,
that's what did you see?
Did you see when Larry answered so sarcastically to them? Like it was right in the beginning. He was like,
"Did you?
Thank you, guys."
Hold on. Did you see? Did you see that part where
his hand on Larry and shook his shoulders?
Did you see the part where they were supposed to high five and the chick had her hand up for like 10 seconds and she put it down and tried to play along with it?
Listen, I'm so opposed to them putting Larry with those dudes. Separate Larry from them. That's one. All right. So you want a good InsideXbox. What I did like with InsideXbox.
Let us host InsideXbox.
Yeah, definitely. real gameplays because that looks kind of weird. It looks kind of spooky. I'm honest. I'm being honest. I do not like the fake jokes.
Yeah, it's cringe. It's
cringy. It's corny, and it's not necessary.
But they did have a lot of stuff. Dizzy, I know that you're happy with Atlas, because that looks like the natural evolution of that crap game Ark that you was trying to get me to play. But this looks like
an PowerPoint. That's not a game.
So I had to laugh how they had to come out and say, "Hey, we know that Sea of Thieves exists."
Yeah, they had that. Yeah. You saw that. I peeped that. Just real quick, I just want to double down on what King is saying. Look. To me, it's just like they just focus too much on the panel. Just show the games, man. You don't want your FaceTime. Yeah, it's too much FaceTime.
As much as I hate to say it, do what PlayStation did. Copy direct.
Yeah, just direct. Trailer. Then if you want to have a dev come out, really briefly talk about and expand more, fine. But get back to trailer. Like, we don't have to keep seeing y'all making jokes. Like, that is the cringiest.
Do what Bungie does. Bungie has a good amount of gameplay and talking. They get it quick. They get all that out the door. Then they move the hell on.
The pacing is bad. listen, it's not for us. We know that, but it's just one of those things that it could literally improve. We're happy it exists, but the current formula,
fix it. Just fix it. It's not being fixed. It's like the same regurgitated crap. And y'all keep thinking we want personalities.
Yes.
They don't have personalities. Those are false personalities. And whoever's writing these jokes
stop it. Yeah.
Right, we got a super chat. Let me go ahead and pay this bill. We got a $5 super chat from Victor. He says, Inside Xbox needs to be structured like a podcast with games and interviews. I don't agree with that. Like, I feel like Inside Xbox needs to be a show floor that just goes from game to game. And, you know, they can have a break, but they don't have to be exactly like Direct. They can show like half of, first off, you can cut it dramatically. Only show the interviews that count, the ones that people care for. Am I still the only one that doesn't understand what this event's made for? Am I still the only one?
You gotta get
I gotta get these super chats. They're going
crazy.
Shout out to Brap with the $5 super chat. Major Nelson needs to be marketing insure and life insurance. Wow. Don't think he resonates with game.
No doubt. Shout out to Chris.
You might be onto something, Brap.
You know what? You know who they need to take in control of that whole thing? That dude that hosts the PC gaming show.
Oh, I love him, but here's the
if they need someone with charisma that actually can resonate with gamers. And not as much as Major Nelson's cool. He's just not it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. This is being real. All the cringeworthy stuff didn't come from Major, right?
So that's kind of true, though. Except when he did the Crazy Eddie, though. When he did the Crazy Eddie, that one time, and the gloves,
but
they let him loose.
This is what I'm trying to say. They didn't let him loose. Somebody wrote that crap. Listen. He's standing on the side. He's trying to be straight-laced. He's trying to give you the information. He's trying to throw the stuff out. And these dudes, these jokers on the side, when he touched his shoulders, disgust in Larry's face. I was disgusted with you, Larry. And I'm letting you know.
Hold on. Chris Hughes Sr. with the £2 super chat. Cringe jokes is the best part of Inside Xbox. Listen, this is
I'm not going to say you're on to something.
I'm not on to that one, but salute for the super chat. But here's the thing. Like, to me, only people who should be getting screen time is when Phil comes on, or when, you know, Bill Stillwell.
I don't mind. You know, they do their giveaways. Give our boy that chance to shine there. Don't let him say any of those cringeworthy stuff. Let him give the stuff away, and it's like back to the real, and then it goes back to the next game, and then afterward they say something else. I just feel like if it was just the length of the show. That would be one thing, but there's multiple things wrong with Inside Xbox. It's not just the length of the show. It's the cringeworthy. It feels like what's the word I'm looking for? They're not on the same page. Like, for instance, like the chick was trying to high five that dude and completely missed it. I'm just like,
they just joined it.
Hold on, Brap. Shout out Brap with the $5 super chat. Inside Xbox needs Addict's beard to host. Much love for you.
Look, I don't know if I could do that because my beard is very picky on what kind of things it hosts. But you know, I'm saying that my beard could probably host that better than they are.
Crazy left.
Continue, kid, and then we go get it.
Listen, we just getting to the point where this was my whole point with the Inside Xbox. Inside Xbox showed you all the games that was coming up forward. The cringeworthy stuff can go to the left. I like the Atlas being shown. I like a couple of other games that was being shown. I'm not as detailed as Sovereign because I'm going off the top of my memory. My biggest thing was xCloud. The fact that they talked about xCloud and told you to go sign up right now to get that done. That had the same effect to me as State of Play when they told you about The Last of Us. What we have to understand is, first, they put both of them on. Okay, and we as gamers won that day. Everybody won. You got the information on The Last of Us and the release date of it coming out, and Xbox gamers got xCloud, and you can go sign up for it, and it gave you more. They talked about the game, the streaming from console to device. They talked about it, cloud streaming. So if you was unclear about the messaging with xCloud, they clarified it. They made you understand this is what this does, this what this does, and this is what this is about.
Let me jump in on that too, because I'll double down before we go the opposite way. Yeah, man, that was the highlight for me. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Chowdhury on, you got to the point. Hey, boom, it's gonna be U.S. Korea, UK, you know what I'm saying, for right now, you know what I'm saying, with the early joint. Then they talked about, I want to shout out Hyde if he's still in the chat with LordGaming.net. He's got all the information. Please check that out. The games, though, King, Halo 5,
yes,
Gears,
yes,
Killer Instinct, and I think Sea of Thieves is also on the list, but the fact that, all right, we already touched Halo 5.
Yes.
First-person game, 60 frames per second, that's a lot of confidence to be showing that off. Right?
Yeah.
Then you got Gears, brand new game. Okay, cool. But to me, the underrated thing is Killer Instinct because let's be real,
Show no lag.
Fighters historically don't showcase well on no streaming joint. So if you're putting up you've got confidence in your, at least in my opinion.
You got confidence like Naughty Dog? Okay.
Shut up. But like to me, that lineup from a latency perspective.
Yes,
is really gangster. Only thing I was gonna say is, then obviously they talked about the requirements, and then they talked about, like I said, you got the cloud streaming. What was interesting, they said the console streaming will allow all your games that you, at least that's how they put it. They said the cloud streaming is limited to what they have up there. I guess if the one that's available, if that's going to be a Game Pass thing. But what's very interesting is the console streaming, and I want to shout that out because I'm actually in the alpha for that. You got to have 10 megabyte upload at least. Bluetooth controller. Leave your Xbox on instant on, and that to me is a big deal because that could be the way they get around. Remember how we talked about Project Atlas, right? And we said, EA could be on some foul stuff and say, we locking our games to stream out on the cloud from y'all. But if they do console streaming, which is it's in a sense what Remote Play used to do, but a better version. Like, remember Remote Play, you use your Vita and you log into your console, but that was through the internet. You're avoiding the internet, you're going Azure server route, and it's a better way that Microsoft's doing it. But I think this could be what you think, so you think that they could get around the legal stuff with that?
Absolutely. I think that is when they announced that. I remember when Bill told us about that with the console streaming stuff. But wait a minute, okay, so now all of a sudden you eliminate for certain people, right, who don't necessarily need to have that server hundreds of miles away. All of a sudden now you're creating another network of interconnected consoles, and it's something that when you think about it, it makes perfect sense, and we never thought about it because we just thinking about 5G and all of the different blades and the different server stacks they have around the country and around the world. This just expands that exponentially. You know what I mean? So, and again, if within the home as well, when you're creating an environment within the home where now you can access them anywhere and you can literally do the remote play sitting on the throne, whatever, what we tried to do with the Wii U and the Vita and all that stuff like that.
No, it's tremendous. It's a good point. Because here's the thing, because you got to remember too, Azure's reach is big, but there are some pockets that Azure is not at. So if those guys are like, damn, my service don't have that or whatever the requirements is, and they got a strong connection in the crib, right? They're just going from their device to the crib.
Did y'all talk about the zones that the beta is going to be launched in?
Yeah.
That was an eye-opener within itself.
South Korea was huge because we got that SK Telecom deal. Again, that we talked about, LordCognito. That's a big deal, which means they are really gearing up. And I thought that, to me, was a strong, like King said, that was very strong announcement.
My question, right? The fact that they're launching in that region and they're trying to be the first in that region, they're trying to lock down that area. Wasn't we talking about getting to your base and installing your base? And I said before, when everybody said Phil need to stay out of these areas where they're not strong in.
You're right.
And he's been, when they went and they purchased land over this place and put a company over there and they put a building over there, and y'all say they need to get out of there. And I said, no, he needs to hunker down. He needs to make his weakness a strength. And the fact that they said South Korea, they're launching the beta of xCloud. They chose this strategically
with that
because
partnership.
You really have to think cell phones is their main play area, right? This is what they use to play in game while they're working and they're coming and moving. Once this cloud is here,
hold on, BK best out on your neck. He said Xbox out here stuttering like Sean Paul.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel exactly what you're saying. But the level of importance of this xCloud, and I want you to come back later after you get xCloud in your hands, and I want your knees in that box. Right? Because you're gonna say, I can't believe this is not butter. And you're gonna throw your knees in the box with glee. You're gonna smile. The same way that you're gonna put your money up for The Last of Us with no multiplayer, you're gonna give me your knees when you get that xCloud, and you're gonna be like, that's right, sir.
Shout out to Def. He says South Korea is a major Q. I do agree, because it's like, again, we're forgetting about the major part, which is partnerships with ISP. The ISPs are coming out and say, yo, T-Mobile's like, yo, xCloud's one of the best to work with us. You know, so there's going to be, with these level of partnerships, either some type of deals, maybe some type of tier structure. They're working. This is the thing we were worried that Stadia, how are they going to get past data caps? How are they going to do all this stuff? Right. Microsoft has a plan, it seems. I'm not hearing any of this with Stadia, and that to me is the separator. What you're saying, Saul?
No, you're right. These ISPs, because we for the longest time, if there's anything that was sort of detracting us from the whole idea of the streaming was what's going to happen with these data caps. Even the people like us that don't have those caps, how are the prices on our internet connections going to go up? Right. And I think the companies all involved, whether it be Google, whether it be Microsoft or whomever, that's something that they knew they had to address from the very beginning, at least to ease the transition. I'm not saying in a couple of years it won't be considerably more expensive.
Oh, you're sorry, Dizzy. You're right. How about those iPhone users? What you need to do, iPhone users, because I don't have an iPhone, what you need to do is toss it in the bushes.
get that Android.
Go get that Android. That's a better phone.
It's just not first.
It's just not coming fast enough. So you gonna have to go out and go get a second phone. We got a phone for you.
You disrespectful. We ain't gonna have this Apple slander in here, man. But it's coming.
We got a phone for you.
You disrespect. They have shown with their partnerships that they will work with Apple, xCloud, and the tools that they've used. They will be working with them. Just Apple's a little tougher to crack because of their ecosystem or whatever. But yeah, man, Attic, what do you think, man, about the xCloud announcement as well as just InsideXbox in general?
It's cool. If I can play Destiny at the airport, I'm good.
All right, cool. Here's the other thing we're forgetting too about the ISP is that, remember, if you're console streaming, if you got a good Wi-Fi where you at, that alleviates you having to do the data stuff, right? As well.
Yes.
Yeah, this is good options, man. Look, options, man. Football is getting close, so we're going to wrap. Unless anybody got anything else on InsideXbox.
I need to go to bed.
You got to go to bed. I know. Oh, hold on. You Brat with the $5 super chat. That's how you say it, Attic? Super chat. Google just can't YouTube right. Can't get you. How the heck are they gonna get Stadia right? King is right. Apple in the bushes. Closed platform. Yuck.
Wait a second, Brad. Wait a second. Wasn't you Stadia a minute ago? What's going on?
Yeah, he jumping up the Phil Luminous train.
You know what's funny though? Like it's funny that every Stadia Connect you have buffering problems. Like that's scary. That's scary.
Brad was on to something. Let's be real, content creators. Ever since this whole killing Google Hangouts on air and now doing this other stuff, they've been shaky. A lot of content
Google Hangouts had to die so Stadia could live?
That would that's crazy.
Do you think that was part of the
Listen, man, I'm just not feeling what they did to my smaller content creators. That was foul because people use that service. We use that service. A lot of podcasts. And the main issue I have with Google, and I'm going to keep it a buck, is that they almost feel. Remember, King and Saul gonna know about this. Remember when you watched Inspector Gadget back in the day, and there was that hand, and you just see the hand and the boss. You don't see nothing else.
Petting the cat.
The cat. That's how they feel to be like. There's no one to contact. They're just they don't have no direct number. If something go wrong with YouTube, you just gotta wait with automated stuff. Like it's just too much.
That's exactly how Stadia is.
Wizard of Oz behind the curtain stuff that I just don't like. I like my companies. I want to be able to get.
I feel like that's just a Google thing because now I don't know if you know this, but if you call Microsoft support for Xbox, they tell you to give you a number to call back. Like you can't even talk to someone.
You speak to a person though. Eventually, that's just a system. They call you back. It's just that they're getting inundated automated with calls, and then they'll call you back. You speak to a person. Like there is no hotline. If I have a problem with YouTube, I can't speak to a person. That's messed up.
What I'm saying is like the overall customer service seems to be changing in general. I'm not condoning what Google does. Like Google's one of those people like you have to make your complaint to like a paper airplane and throw it and hope someone gets it. Like
facts. Bro, I never got answers to simple problems. I mean, remember when I was
that we had to just figure out on our own.
Figure out on my own. Like I literally went to their forums. I did everything automated that they wanted me to do, and I never got a response.
And you know what you did? You got a like button. They put a like when you figured it out. They was like, he did it.
You know what I'm surprised they just don't have like an automated says Google it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's what I got.
Google the answer.
I Googled it. Salute to xCloud with a strong song. We'll see how that goes, man. Console streaming and whatever. So new ILP poll. Let's get it with the recent announcement by Naughty Dog that Last of Us 2 will not initially launch with multiplayer, and instead a potential separate factions mode at a later date. Do you agree with the decision reason given by the developer? The choices are A, yes, The Last of Us single player should be made priority and not worry about a tacked on multiplayer mode. B, no, lack of transparency and just an excuse to monetize and ship a game with less features. Or C, I don't care, Sony ain't got no multiplayer anyway, I'm about to cancel PS Plus. No is the question.
I feel like there should be a both B and D C thing. Like I feel like you should be able to pick two with this one. Just this one.
That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the vote when it goes up on ILP Twitter. We had to salute again Lord Dan Butchko earlier for coming through the realm of Playcrafting, the CEO, the boss, doing his thing, man. Tremendous gaming stories. Again, if you missed it, you came late, please catch the first hour when it goes back up on ILP YouTube. And yeah, man, let's get these outros going. Lord Attic, what do you have going on, sir?
So I unfortunately have nothing going on besides playing Destiny. Tuesday, when Tuesday comes around, don't expect me. Okay, I'll probably be tweeting because I'm still on my strong arm stuff on Twitter. I've been real bad here lately. I need to straighten that up. But definitely catch me on Twitter, Lord Addict IOP. You can catch me on YouTube, Gaming Addict. Unfortunately, I won't be posting anything until I get this PC thing figured out. I don't know if this has been announced, but Kid Smooth's having another challenge. It's the Bloodborne 2. I don't know if he's gonna want me to announce that, but you just
put the business out. You don't even know.
It is what it is. I don't want to set the whole thing up. We get the exclusive, man.
This man out here 6'9".
I don't know if you want me to say it, but
you can't be 6'9" in Kid Smooth business on IO.
Whoa! Wait a second.
Like default,
man.
No doubt. Shout out to Lord Sovereign.
No, I have not picked up COVID.
Yeah, Lord Sovereign, what's up, man? Where can find people? What you got going?
You can find me on Twitter at LordSov ILP and BX Sovereign on PSN Xbox Live. I'm gonna try to play a little bit of Gears today because I got a text a little while ago that I gotta come into work. So folded my Sunday, but. It is what it is.
This is why we gotta get that xCloud for you, so we, you know what I'm saying. Now you gonna need it for
remote. You're gonna be remote playing.
Remote play. All day. No doubt. Lord King, absolutely lit in the round. Where five people find what you got going on, sir?
Oh man, listen, I got a statue coming in from eBay. I got 3 more. I got my eyeballs on, and then I'm definitely gonna get. Listen, I'm getting ready to start up I haven't
got that statue back there that probably costs more than my car.
That's really nice. That Batman is really nice. A lot of people like it. I really don't like it that much.
Yeah, a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, I don't really like it that much.
I noticed it's not rotating. What's up with that?
Yeah. Stop it.
I got it.
Push the stop, baby. Raise the doors up.
Got it back on. Anyway, yeah, I got I'm trying to do the Spider-Man universe thing since Spidey's back.
Addict 6'9". I'm done.
Addict. Yo, Def Singer called him Addict 6'9". Yo, I'm dead. Yo, they stupid.
Yeah, listen, so we got Combat Talk coming up. If you didn't see the Combat Talk that I put up with Earl Spence Jr. and Sean Porter, I'm gonna do a results because they actually lit up the night. They did what they were supposed to do. Two guys, this is what you spend your money on. If you paid for it yesterday, you got the multiplayer with it. And it definitely
Yo, you stupid. You're stupid. That was a shot. That was uncalled for, sir. That was
Yo, listen, man. Listen, I got another section covered there, but I want y'all to go to lordsofgaming.net where all that information is up there. You can see all that stuff. You can see us in all our glory. You can see LordCognito up there with the last word with Ibante. Listen, this week, Destiny is about to get on fire. And these dudes have been on the forefront. I have been putting them on the back burner because they've been throwing out too much spoilers my way. I really like watching it, but I can't watch it because these guys have too much knowledge.
fair enough. Yo, no doubt. You already know what it is. Hit that like notification, gang. Make sure y'all hitting up support, man. Support Lords Gaming as well. Lord Kai will have stuff up. But I wanted to give a couple of shout outs for the LogNet team. Obviously, Dizzy, our brother, live from the hospital room, holding it down for us. Good to see you in there live and energetic as your normal self. That was dope. But yeah, man, we got a lot of stuff up there. You already know, like Lord King said, the opinion pieces. He's got KOS up there. Alex got reviews going up there. We got game walkthroughs. I want to shout out the team. We got some tremendous additions. I want to shout out my boy Lord 37 Gene 37, his debut. Lord Eugene, he's got a Shenmue 3 hands-on, fresh off the Tokyo Game Show. Welcome him to the team, man. It's a tremendous article. Again, regardless of what, it's really cool. You should check it out. And also, we got Lord Josh Redden, aka Lord Frost, holding us down in Dizzy's absence. Tremendous Shadowkeep primer series. So no spoilers, just if you want to know what everyone in Destiny's doing, all the races, it's really cool. He does it every week. Please check that out. We got Lord Hector, the Macho Man, my man. He's got a tremendous Zelda review up there, Link's Awakening. Please check that out. And of course, Lord Mods, you already know, and Lord Hyde, the tech gurus, always giving us the tech information. Lord Snalder with the Division 2, and Lord MJ, of course, with those deals. If you want to sell, get some little deals on PlayStation Plus or Xbox. He's the one that's telling you what's going on out there. So please, man, support us. LordsOfGaming.net. We appreciate the articles and all that good stuff. So
Comic-Con this week.
Oh, Comic-Con this week. I think Hyde gonna be out there. We're gonna see what's up as well, King.
108 Dragons TV. Like, follow, and subscribe. Go over to his network. He's gonna definitely have information and stuff up there too. He's gonna be out.
Oh, Styles in the chat. Yo, also Stream Team, Roundtable with the Stream Team, Mondays, 9 p.m. Go check them out. Again, King got the Batman KOS. You already see what time it is. Addict, you got the Borderlands 3 review, right? That's up.
Yeah, that's up.
Yeah, please. LordsOfGaming.net. Please support, man. We really appreciate it. Everybody, let's get this football. Sunday is popping. We about to go. Anybody got anything else? No. Everybody enjoy your Sunday. We
Last of Us is an incomplete game.